has been detained. She will be kept almost for 2 to 3 hours in the police station because obviously Nupur, she has not been arrested. She is detained. So after a few hours, when this entire area will be cleared by the Karyakartas and the timing of the protest will end, at that very time the police official will release YS Sharmila. Then after, she will be allowed to leave the police station and go to her place where she wants. But right now, as we show you, a few Karyakartas are also there behind me, you can see, but still para forces and the Delhi police official are standing near Karyakartas. Nupur will take you to that very place where the Delhi police official and the para forces are standing. They are continuously asking the Karyakartas to vacate this entire area, to leave this entire area. See, these are the police official and the para forces. Only few of the Karyakartas are sitting on protest now. They are doing sit-in dharna. Let me go to them, Nupur, because still there are Karyakartas. They are sitting here and the police officials are asking them to vacate this area, as now they are not allowed to protest at Jantar Mantar. Nupur, back to you.
All right, Harsha, bringing us the latest from what's happening in the national capital. Thank you for joining us. The protest march seems to have been dispersed. Now, crews rushed to repair a levee break on a storm-swollen river in California's central coast before yet another atmospheric river arrives Monday night, further enveloping the state's swamped farmland and agricultural communities.
A Pajaro River's levee breach, flash floods, evacuations, power loss, and storm-related deaths plagued California over the weekend. Torrential storms soaked California and set off flooding across the state. The heavy rainfall was caused by one of the many atmospheric river events to hit the state this winter. And yet again, another atmospheric river arrived Monday night, further enveloping the state's swamped farmland and agricultural communities. And as the water rose, more than 8,500 people were forced to evacuate, prompting rescue and relief operations. Agency report, Republic TV.
Well, time for a very short break here on Live and Breaking on Republic TV. But on the other side, swift and shocking collapse of two American banks prompts fears of a broader upheaval.
This is the right now on your screen. That's on your screen, babe. That's Chidambaram right now. He's arrested. On the screen. Mr. Chidambaram. That's Mr. Chidambaram.
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVRP scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders? Are you ashamed of the fact that to Republic?
आपने बस ये बोलना चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो हमारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित।
उनसे एक बार मिल तो लो सर।
tuning in. You're watching Live and Breaking at 12:30. I'm Suesha Sawant, and we begin this edition with some breaking news that is just coming in. Maulana Tauheed Raza Khan, National President of Ittehad-e-Millat Council, who's claimed that if the rhetoric of those who desire Hindu Rashtra is acceptable, then so is the call for Khalistan or a separate Muslim country. He's asked, and I quote, "What if our Muslim youth start to demand a separate Muslim state tomorrow?" Unquote. Following this, a case has now been registered in Moradabad in the matter of making inflammatory statements. A case has been registered. We are putting out the details on your screens, and let's listen into that statement by Tauheed Raza.
वो हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करने वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, 23 दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए, वरना हमें अंदेशा इस बात का है कि कल ऐसा ना हो कि ये हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले इतनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे। वो हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करने वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, 23 दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए, वरना हमें अंदेशा इस बात का है कि कल ऐसा ना हो कि ये हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले इतनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे।
All right, so you heard that statement by the cleric, Maulana Tauheed Raza Khan, who is the National President of Ittehad-e-Millat Council. He has made this statement, and referring to Hindu Rashtra, he's saying that if Hindu Rashtra is acceptable, then why not a call for Khalistan or a separate Muslim country? We're also trying to get you more voices on this. Anila Singh from BJP is now joining us on the broadcast. Anila, how do you view this statement?
My Ram Ram to everyone, and Tauheed Raza is a one cheap fellow who wants to get some sort of media attention, and he keeps on giving controversial statements. And if he says, why not a Muslim nation? Why didn't your ancestors went to Pakistan? Our country was divided on the lines of religion. So why didn't they go to Pakistan? And in today's date, whether Tauheed Raza or the people who have who share the same ideology as of him, they can very well move. They can go to Pakistan. They can opt for the citizenship of Pakistan. And he should just shut up talking about the Khalistan. There is no word like Khalistan. It won't be tolerated in our country. There are few extremists who had tried earlier. Now they keep on doing some sort of nuisance, not in our country, but yes, in foreign lands, they can keep on doing that because they are being sponsored. They are being sponsored, and the sponsoring powers are in our country as well, who keep on doing that nuisance. The thing is, this is Bharat, this is India, and the Prime Minister of our great country is not going to tolerate any sort of nuisance. We are one, and this country is run on the lines of our constitution. That will keep on happening. So, Mr. Tauheed Raza, keep your assumptions, your views to yourself.
Absolutely, Anila, and this is a statement on divisive lines purely to instigate, and that is very clear, which is why a requisite action that is also being looked at, an FIR that has been registered against him. India, primarily a Hindu-dominated nation, and as much as we take pride in our diversity, but for such clerics to make statements that instigate is absolutely unacceptable. And what would you say is the action that must be taken?
Absolutely. I think such people who try to divide us should be taken to task, and court should give a haste decision on them. Because, and one thing I really fail to understand, those who try to play the victim card by saying, oh, we are Muslims, we are being targeted, and the political parties like Congress, Samajwadi Party, TMC, etc., who keep on advocating what these people say, I have to tell them one thing. See, if we talk about Hindus, people, Sanatanis especially, if we talk about, we are minority in this world. And we are living in a global world in today's date. What we are minority. We do not cry that we are minority. We keep on facing such thing in that country. We don't do that. So these people, they have to do the politics. They have to create some sort of ruckus because they are being sponsored financially and otherwise as well.
Right. Anila Singh, I want to thank you for speaking to Republic this afternoon. Let's once again listen into this very controversial statement that has been made by Maulana Taqi Raza Khan.
वो हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करने वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, 23 दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए, वरना हमें अंदेशा इस बात का है कि कल ऐसा ना हो किसी हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले कितनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे, वो हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करने वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, 23 दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए, वरना हमें अंदेशा इस बात का है कि कल ऐसा ना हो किसी हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले कितनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे.
So that is the statement that has been made by Maulana Taqi Raza Khan, who has gone on to say that when there is a call for Hindu Rashtra, what if there is a call on similar lines for Khalistan or Muslim youth calling for a Muslim state tomorrow, separate, then how is that not justified? He has made this very controversial statement, and a case that has now been registered in Moradabad against him for making such inflammatory statements. Zina Chaukat Ali is now with us on the phone line. Zina Chaukat Ali, how do you view this statement by Maulana Taqi Raza Khan?
Can you just repeat the statement, please? Hello?
He's gone on to say that if a call for Hindu Rashtra is justified, then what about those calling for Khalistan or a separate Muslim country? Why is that not looked at on the same lines?
No, these are absolutely inflammatory and unacceptable statements which are made. We are a secular democratic republic, and so we will remain. And these kind of statements coming from very narrow thinking groups can create unnecessary conflict within the society. And I think this is a great danger that we face, and such people have to be told that these are not acceptable. These kind of statements are not acceptable to us as Indians, because you see, using this kind of language and instigating, it sounds like an instigation to instigate the community against whatever. But the whole point is that such kind of statements have to be condemned, and and deplored. I stand to condemn it. Hello?
All right, Zina Chaukat Ali, many thanks for speaking to Republic this afternoon. And for our viewers, we'll continue to get you more voices on this story through the day. For the moment, we move on. And a quick check of the other top stories we are tracking for you this afternoon. Union Minister Anurag Thakur launched a scathing attack on Rahul Gandhi and questioned as to why he doesn't attend the parliament. He also said that he has not left a single opportunity to malign India's image on the international level. He said that he is not allowed to speak in parliament, but his attendance in Lok Sabha is lower than the average attendance of MPs in parliament. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur, while addressing the media, demanded an apology from Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on his democracy dead in India remark. This was during a recent trip to the United Kingdom, and he said that Rahul must apologize to every citizen.
जहां देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, सांसदों से, संसद से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, वहीं पर देश की सीमा पर सैनिकों से माफी मांगनी चाहिए. देश की महिलाओं से, मजदूरों से माफ़ी मांगनी चाहिए। देश के उस गरीब मजदूर से जो अपनी खून पसीना बहाकर देश को सींचता है, आगे बढ़ाता है, जिसके चरण धोकर मोदी जी उनका सम्मान करते हैं, और दूसरी ओर दुनिया के देशों में जाकर भारत का अपमान करने में लगते हो।
While following the BJP's demand of Rahul Gandhi's apology, Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary hits back at Anurag Thakur's statement, saying that instead of Rahul Gandhi, BJP should be the one to apologize, as they were the ones who had stalled Parliament by creating a chaos.
क्यों माफी मांगेंगे राहुल जी? क्या क्या गुना की माफी मांगना है? माफी इन लोगों को मांगना चाहिए।
और प्रियंका गांधी का नाम भी सर आ रहा है,
तो ये करेगा साजिश, तो बढ़ते चलेंगे साजिश, कोई परवाह नहीं हमें, जो मर्जी कर ले।
Prime Minister Modi holds a meeting with his top ministers, including Prahlad Joshi, Piyush Goyal, Narendra Singh Tomar, Kiran Rijiju, Anurag Thakur and Nitin Gadkari in Parliament. Over the demand of a JPC that should be formed to investigate the matter, opposition parties held a meet on Adani controversy. This was in the chamber of Congress President and Leader of Opposition in Rajya Sabha Mallikarjun Kharge over the demand of a JPC that should be formed to investigate the matter. Former Sub-Divisional Officer Jairam Deshpande, who was suspended in the Sai Resort case at Murud, has been arrested by the ED team from Mumbai. Meanwhile, Anil Parab has filed a plea in court to quash the Sai Resort case, which is being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate. ED has summoned IAS Rajiv Arun Eka to join the probe on 15th of March. This is in connection with the purported video in which he was seen signing some documents while allegedly sitting at one Vishal Chaudhary's residence, who is under the scanner in Pooja Singhal case. State government constituted a committee of retired Jharkhand High Court Justice to conduct an inquiry into the matter. Karnataka Congress staged a protest at the Shishagiri Halli Toll Plaza in Ramnagar district over toll levied on motorists using the Mysuru-Bengaluru Expressway. Now, according to sources, some Congress workers have also been detained by the police at Shishagiri Halli Toll Plaza in Ramnagar district during the protest. A sudden fierce fire that broke out in the plastic pipes of Aligarh's Municipal Corporation. The fire brigade reached the spot and got the fire under control. Now, according to sources, underground pipes which were used for the work of Smart City caught fire just 20 steps away from SP City's office. The body of an unidentified woman was found inside a plastic drum that was lying at SMVT railway station last night. CCTV footage of 3 people carrying the drum and leaving it at the railway station is being examined by the police. And more breaking news coming in. CT Ravi has hit out at BS Yediyurappa's announcement of his son who will contest from Shikarpura. Ravi told the media in Vijaypura that the decision to give a ticket will not be decided within the family. It will be decided by Parliamentary Board. BS Yediyurappa has said that his younger son Vijendra will contest from Shikarpura after his retirement announcement from electoral politics.
ನೋಡಿ, ಒಂದು ತಿಳಿರಿ, ನಿರ್ಣಯ ಕಿಚನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಾರ್ಟಿದು. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ನಿರ್ಣಯ ಕಿಚನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಕೇವಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಡುವ ನಿರ್ಣಯ ಅವ್ರ ಮನೇಲಿ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ವಿಜೇಂದ್ರ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನು ಮುಂದಿಟ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಆ ನಿರ್ಣಯ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ನಿರ್ಣಯ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ರಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಿಚನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಕಿಚನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಕಿಚನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಬಿಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ವಿನಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕ್ರೈಟೀರಿಯಾವನ್ನು ಆಧರಿಸಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಟ್ ಸರ್ವೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಸರ್ವೆ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿನಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಡೀ ಪಾರ್ಟಿನೇ ಒಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಬಿಡೋದು, ಇಡೀ ಸರ್ಕಾರನೇ ಒಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಬಿಡೋದು ಆ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಲಿ ನಡೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿಯವ್ರ ಮಗ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ರಾಜೀವ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್, ಆ ಥರದ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ.
ಅವ್ರು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ಜನ ಈಗ ಆ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಬಿಜೆಪಿಗೆ ಮತ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ನೇರವಾಗಿದೆ, ಈಗ ಹಾಲಿ ಇರುವ ಮುಖಂಡರ ಮನೆಯವರಿಗೆ ಕುಟುಂಬ ಸದಸ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ, ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಸರ್.
ಈಗ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಆ ನಿರ್ಣಯ ಅವ್ರ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಬಲ್ಲೆ.
Cutting across to my colleague Prajwal, who's tracking all the details on the ground. Prajwal, this certainly is becoming a point of contention within the Karnataka BJP. And while we understand the larger ideology of the party when it comes to nepotism, typically if it can be looked at like that, BS Yediyurappa wanting to give a ticket to his son, how is this panning out within the top leadership as well?
Absolutely, because over here, yes, C.T. Ravi is also hitting out at nepotism, but at the same point of time, he's also taking a dig at dynasty politics in the Congress. So he's giving a reference there to Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi there as well. And he stated that the BJP is such a party that such things will not be encouraged within the Saffron party, is something which he pointed out. But also, let's go on and understand that Vijayendra is just not only the son of B.S. Yediyurappa, but he is also the vice president of the BJP in the state of Karnataka. So that is something which has to be understood by C.T. Ravi when he had to go on and make this particular statement here. But all said and done, somewhere there is also a message that is being sent out by the High Command too. Because B.S. Yediyurappa was pretty sure, but he's also mentioned in the latter part, stating that yes, he would want his son to contest from Shikaripura, but ultimately it will be the party's High Command which will go on and decide this. So therefore, this was basically a rebuttal to the Congress, which had pointed fingers out at B.S. Yediyurappa, but an indirect message which is being sent out by the BJP National General Secretary C.T. Ravi in this particular regard, Suesha.
All right, Prajwal, we'll wait and watch what happens as far as B.S. Yediyurappa's son is concerned and whether the party does decide to give him a ticket. For the moment, let's listen into that statement by C.T. Ravi once again.
ಕಿಚನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಾರ್ಟಿದು.
ಸರ್, ನಾನು
ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ನಿರ್ಣಯ ಕಿಚನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಕೇವಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣ.
All the people of India, central financial institutions lent money to a project, and that project has become the biggest scam of India today. Central financial institutions has not loaned any small amount, but has actually lent 1 lakh crore of rupees, thereby making it the biggest scam of India. Power Finance Corporation has lent 38,000 crores of rupees to this Kaleshwaram project. Rural Electrification Corporation has lent 30,000 crores of rupees. PNB has lent 11,500 crores of rupees. And NABARD and others have lent almost 20,000 crores of rupees. So 1 lakh crore of rupees that went out from the central financial institutions was pumped into Kaleshwaram project, and Kaleshwaram project is a grand failure and a biggest fiasco today of the state of Telangana. I should say it should get into a record for having spent 1,20,000 crore of rupees, but being able to irrigate only 1.5 lakh acres of
Sharmila
land.
ji will walk outside and will speak. Sharmila ji, one more thing. It is being said that you repeatedly attack BRS, but you seldom attack the Saffron party. Some say that you are the B team of BJP. Why is that?
We'll go there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some say that, YSRTP is the B team of BJP because you repeatedly attack BRS, but you seldom attack BJP.
BJP party knows that's not true. BJP party knows the corruption that is happening in Telangana, in Kaleshwaram project. Even in the press meet before this, I have alleged the BJP party for not having taken any action against the biggest scam of India. Ministers like Water Resource Minister, Minister like Nirmala Sitharaman have come to Telangana and have gone on record saying that KCR is using the Kaleshwaram project as the ATM. KCR is using Kaleshwaram project as a milking machine. They have made comments like these but have not yet initiated an inquiry commission into this project. Why is my question? If BJP party is the watchdog of the country, if BJP party is an authority in the country, if BJP party knows the corruption that is happening in a particular state, isn't it the responsibility of the BJP party, the ruling party of the country, to take action against this?
Sharmila ji, one more thing. Is YS Sharmila fighting alone on herself, or there is some stooge behind YS Sharmila?
आप मीडिया से कैसा बात नहीं करने देंगे? आप जाइए ना, हम पुलिस स्टेशन नहीं, हम पुलिस स्टेशन में नहीं है, पुलिस स्टेशन के बाहर है, पुलिस स्टेशन के रास्ता में नहीं है, हम यहाँ बाजू में है ना, 5-10 मिनट प्लीज.
Ma'am, I was asking, is YS Sharmila on her own self, she's fighting alone, or there's some stooge behind YS Sharmila?
YS Sharmila has invited all the political parties to participate in this parliament march, in this protest against Kaleshwaram project, because this Kaleshwaram project does not belong to Sharmila, and Sharmila is not the whole and sole loser here. This money belongs to the people of the country. This money is not notional money. This money is actually money that was in the exchequer, that was in these banks, and this money is not like assumed or a deemed loss. This money is actually gone into a project. From the project, it is gone into the contractor. From the contractor, it's gone as commissions to the Chief Minister of Telangana himself. And thereby, this money is actually siphoned off. That's why I'm asking all the political parties to participate, to take...
You are alone. So you are alone. You are fighting alone.
Exactly. Right now, I am alone. Please, media, at least give support to YSR Telangana party. The people of Telangana, the people of India, the experts also should join this fight. Justice should prevail. The culprit should be brought to justice. Thank you.
So this is YS Sharmila speaking exclusively to Republic, where she states that why there was a need to come to the streets of national capital, and why this entire issue needs the attention of all the parliamentarians. Back to you.
Absolutely, Harsha. And the very fact that she has moved this fight from Hyderabad to Delhi is because she is wanting to get the attention of the entire nation, where she says that this scam is much bigger than what it seems, or how it is being downplayed. We wait and watch how this fight really moves on, and the details of the scam as exposed by YS Sharmila, keeping a close eye on it. For the moment, we step into a short commercial break, also a quick check of what's lined up on the other side. The Aam Aadmi Party is aiming to expand its footprint in Madhya Pradesh now. Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann are all set to hold a rally. We'll get you those pictures on the other side. Do stay with us.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
The issue of institutions, when the ED goes after you, these protests don't happen.
Obviously, you don't understand English. What can
I understand English, sir. That's why I'm asking Mr. Rahul Gandhi raise the issue of institutions. When ED goes after you, these protests don't...
Your English is wrong.
Public workers. This is the right now on your screen. That's on your screen, babe. That's Pichidabra right now. He's arrested. On the screen. Mr. Chidabra. That's Mr. Chidabra.
Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TRP scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it?
Calm down and just have a look at the reality. The reality is that the banks that you just mentioned, and I would say the French banking system, is not exposed to the Silicon Valley Bank. Is not exposed to the Silicon Valley Bank. So there is no links between the different situations. There is no specific concern for the French banks. Of course, we are looking very closely at the situation, but when you are looking at the economic model and the financial model of the BNP, Société Générale and other French banks, it is radically different from the model of the Silicon Valley Bank.
We don't see a specific risk of contagion. Of course, we are monitoring the situation in close contact with the ECB. We appreciate, we take note of the initiative taken by the US authorities to avoid in US a contagion. And also we stress the fact that European banks, all European banks, not only the bigger, are applying the prudential Basel standard. So directly there is no contagion. The possibility of indirect impact is something that we have to monitor, but at the moment we don't see it as a significant risk.
Some countries like Italy had even limit down at one point. What's your message perhaps to investors? Let's take a breather, cool down and look at the fundamentals?
Well, I think that an impact in remuneration of banks was to be estimated, it was predictable. But this is one thing. Assessing the fact that there is a real risk of contagion is a different thing. I don't think.
With that, it's time for us to slip into a very short commercial break. On the other side, we get you details as the Aam Aadmi Party is aiming to expand its footprint in Madhya Pradesh now. Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann to hold a rally.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
आपने बस ये बोलना चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो हमारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित।
उनसे एक बार मिल तो लो सर, मिल तो लो सर। Public workers, this is the right now on the screen. That's on your screen, babe. That's P. Chidambaram right now. He's arrested. On the screen. Mr. Chidambaram. That's Mr. Chidambaram. We have to. Institutions, when the ED goes after you, these protests don't happen.
Obviously, you don't understand English. What can
I understand English, sir. That's why I'm asking Mr. Rahul Gandhi raise the issue of institutions. When ED goes after you.
breaking. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. We start with the top headlines this afternoon. For the second consecutive day, Rahul's India insults rocks the parliament today. IND Minister Anurag Thakur slams Rahul Gandhi, says Congress must stop Cambridge cries and London lies. Congress goes all out to defend Rahul Gandhi, rules out apology for his comment on democracy. FIR against Congress-backed Cleric for his provocative and polarizing Muslim Rashtra comment. Big trouble for the BJP ahead of elections. BJP MLA takes a swipe at Yediyurappa for announcing seat for his son. Swift and shocking collapse of two American banks prompts fears of a broader upheaval. And our top focus remains the political uproar over the comments that were made by Rahul Gandhi in UK. Union Minister Anurag Thakur today, while addressing the media, said that the central government demands an apology from Rahul Gandhi for his remarks. This, of course, after Rahul Gandhi said that democracy is under attack in the country and that it is already dead in India, a reaction that's a remark that has triggered widespread backlash from across the spectrum. The central government, meanwhile, maintaining that the Congress MP must tender an apology on the floor of the House, while the latter saying that Rahul Gandhi has said nothing wrong, and issue that has been reverberating in the parliament as well. Let's listen into that remark that came in from Anurag Thakur demanding an apology from Rahul Gandhi.
जहां एक और जम्मू कश्मीर की आप बात करते हो, आपकी सरकार के समय, कांग्रेस की सरकार के समय पथरावबाजी होती थी, कश्मीर को ज़्यादा स्वायत्तता देने की बात होती थी, कश्मीर के हालात गंभीर होते थे। अरे मोदी जी की सरकार आने के बाद तो आप पत्थरबाजी की बजाय बर्फ़ के गोले चलाने का काम और खेलने का काम, खिलाने का काम कर रहे थे। ये बदलाव है दो सरकारों में। आपके समय पथराव था, हमारे समय स्वागत होता है, रिकॉर्ड टूरिज्म होता है। आप बात करते हो माइनॉरिटीज़ की। अरे सबसे बड़ा दुर्भाग्य तो यह है कि आपके समय सबसे बड़े दंगे 1984 में सिखों के साथ जो हुआ, जो कत्लेआम उनका हुआ, आपके ही पार्टी के जो नेता जो इसमें शामिल भी थे, वो आज भी आपकी पार्टी की बड़ी बैठकों में आते हैं। क्या कहना है आपका सिखों पर? और देश से बाहर जाकर आप देश को बदनाम करने का काम करते हो, भारत को दुनिया भर में बदनाम करने का काम करते हो। राहुल जी, आपको तुरंत वापस आकर सदन में, जहां देश से माफ़ी मांगनी चाहिए, सांसदों से, संसद से माफ़ी मांगनी चाहिए, वहीं पर देश की सीमा पर सैनिकों से माफ़ी मांगनी चाहिए, देश की महिलाओं से, मजदूरों से माफ़ी मांगनी चाहिए, देश के उस गरीब मजदूर से जो अपनी खून पसीना बहाकर देश को सींचता है, आगे बढ़ाता है, जिसके चरण धोकर मोदी जी उनका सम्मान करते हैं, और दूसरी ओर दुनिया के देशों में जाकर भारत का अपमान करने में लगते हो।
Now, even as Rahul Gandhi made those anti-India remarks while he was in UK during the lectures that he delivered in those events in UK, several of the Congress leaders that have come out in support of Rahul Gandhi, while the union government maintains that Rahul Gandhi must apologize on the floor of the House.
बहुत महत्वपूर्ण विषय उठाया था जो देश की अस्मिता के साथ जुड़ा है और खास तौर पे पार्लियामेंट के हम सभी के स्वाभिमान के साथ जुड़ा है। जिस प्रकार से विदेशी धरती में जाके भारत का अपमान किया गया, भारत के सब संस्थानों का अपमान किया गया और विशेषकर पार्लियामेंट का अपमान किया। सर, पार्लियामेंट यानी लोकसभा और राज्यसभा दोनों संयुक्त सदन मिलके पार्लियामेंट है और पार्लियामेंट के हिस्से में देश की पार्लियामेंट का हिस्सा देश की महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी भी रहते हैं। और मैं समझता हूँ कि ये शायद पहली बार हुआ हो कि पार्लियामेंट को मिलके पूरे पार्लियामेंट और उसमें दोनों सदन भी है, माननीय महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी भी है, उन सबके ऊपर जिस प्रकार के आरोप लगाए, जिस प्रकार के निराधार शब्द इस्तेमाल किए गए, बहुत अपमानजनक शब्द इस्तेमाल किए गए, आपने भी माननीय अध्यक्ष जी इस बात की निंदा की।
Remember, both the houses of the parliament have been adjourned till 2 p.m. today. This, of course, after there was uproar and sloganeering in the parliament as the opposition demanded a JPC inquiry into the Adani matter. The central government demanding an apology from the Gandhi sign. In fact, let's listen into reactions that have been coming in from the Congress leaders.
सदन चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा, अब ये सवाल विपक्ष से नहीं पूछा जाना चाहिए। कल का दृश्य सबके सामने है। कल चेयरमैन की लाख कोशिशों के बावजूद सत्ता पक्ष के सारे सदस्य खड़े होकर व्यवधान बनाते रहे, करते रहे। नतीजे के तौर पर कल का दिन एक काले दिन के रूप में अंकित हो गया लोकतंत्र के इतिहास में, जब सत्ता पक्ष ने नहीं चलने दी। आज भी हमने तो नोटिस दी है अडानी पे जांच के लिए, जेपीसी के लिए। अब सत्ता पक्ष को ये देखना है कि अपने मालिक अडानी को बचाने के लिए भाजपा कब तक सदन को नहीं चलने देगी। हम तो लोकतांत्रिक ढंग से इस मांग को उठाते रहेंगे। भारत जोड़ो यात्रा से व्यथित, व्याकुल, डरे हुए हैं लोग, और इसीलिए राहुल गांधी से जो कुछ उन्होंने विदेश में कहा उसे पूरा न रखे। उन्होंने तो भारत जोड़ो यात्रा के अनुभव साझा किए तो भारत की लोकतंत्र की तारीफ की थी। गलत बयानी करके अपने मालिक अडानी का मुद्दा न उठे, इसलिए सदन को अव्यवस्थित कर रहे हैं। और दूसरा, अनुराग ठाकुर की पीड़ा मैं समझ सकता हूं। उनकी होम स्टेट हिमाचल में इंदिरा गांधी की प्रतीक प्रतिस्वरूप इकलौती प्रियंका गांधी ने कार्यकर्ताओं के साथ हिमाचल प्रदेश की सरकार तब अपदस्थ कर दी, कांग्रेस की सरकार बनवा दी, जब प्रधानमंत्री ने डेरा डाल दिया था हिमाचल में। तो ये हार की कसक है जो प्रियंका गांधी पर अपना गुस्सा उतारा जाए।
क्यों माफी मांगेंगे राहुल जी? क्या क्या गुना की माफी मांगना है? माफी तीन लोगों को मांगना चाहिए।
और प्रियंका गांधी का नाम भी सर आ रहा है,
तो ये करेगा साजिश, तो बढ़ते चलेंगे साजिश, कोई परवाह नहीं हमें, जो मर्जी कर लें ले।
Right, moving on to the news break that's coming in from poll-bound state Karnataka. We're given to understand this is, of course, in relation to the bribe gate scam that hit Karnataka. The Supreme Court has now agreed to hear a plea of the Karnataka Lokayukta against the grant of anticipatory bail by the High Court to the BJP MLA, the main accused in the Karnataka bribe gate scam. The plea was initially mentioned for urgent listening before a bench headed by Chief Justice Chandrachud, who asked the Lokayukta's counsel to mention the matter before a bench headed by Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul. Let's go across to Prajwal as well. Prajwal, if you can take us through the details of this plea that's been filed by the Karnataka Lokayukta in this case.
The Lokayukta Council has now mentioned on the same lines of what the Bangalore's Advocate Association had mentioned, stating that why was this particular bail which was given to Madal Virupakshappa was listed as emergency urgent on an urgent basis in the Karnataka High Court, and on what basis was the bail given to the sitting MLA, with the fact that rupees 8 crores has been seized from his residence and office, and his son is also one of the chief accused, and he was also caught red-handed here. So therefore, the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, stated that the Constitution bench cannot be hearing this particular case because it was listening to another important case, and therefore he asked them, he asked the Lokayukta Council to appear before Justice Sanjay Kaul. And Justice Sanjay Kaul did listen to the Lokayukta Council today, but the Lokayukta Council wanted the case to be listed at 2 p.m. this afternoon. But then he stated that Justice Sanjay Kaul has now gone on and stated that this particular case is in regards to the cancel of an anticipatory bail, and it can also be heard later, and therefore he will list it as soon as possible, but it cannot be listed today, is what Justice Sanjay Kaul has replied to the Lokayukta Council as well. But the Lokayukta is quite hopeful that in this coming week this particular case will be heard as well, because the Lokayukta on 3 counts mainly has stated that the bail should be cancelled. One, that the MLA's son was caught red-handed. Secondly, that there was a large sum of money which was also found at the MLA's residence in Bengaluru. A sum of 6 crore 12 lakhs and 30,000 rupees was also found. And thirdly, that this particular case was immediately taken up by the Karnataka High Court when it came to the anticipatory bail as well, and therefore the MLA was, he was let go scot-free as well. These charges which the Lokayukta Council has gone on to state. But all said and done, now we will have to look at what will the Supreme Court state here, and this would definitely be important considering the fact that he still continues to be a ticket aspirant of the BJP, and the BJP is yet to take any sort of disciplinary action against this MLA, Madal Virupakshappa.
Yes, and Prajwal, that's precisely the question, that why is it that still now the BJP has failed to act against the BJP MLA?
The BJP on one side is going here mentioning that, that action will be taken against the guilty no matter what. But it will be the court of law which will decide, and if he is proven guilty in the court of law, only then the action will be taken against. And therefore now the Lokayukta had gone on to file 2 new additional FIRs in this particular case, making Madal Virupakshappa's son Madal Prashant as the chief accused, as the prime accused in this case. And the MLA's name was shifted to accused number 2 in this particular case. So even if the Lokayukta is going on and contesting the bail of the MLA, why was he still not mentioned as accused number 1 is something that needs to be questioned. And meanwhile, we will also have to look at what the BJP stand will be, because so far they have stated that let the court go on and decide, and only after which they will go on to take action.
Yes, Prajwal, thank you for the moment, and of course rightly said that a lot of answers that need to be answered by the BJP as well as to why it has failed to act against its MLA till now. And moving on then, the YSR Telangana Party Chief YS Sharmila held a march from Jantar Mandir to the Parliament in the national capital, demanding action against alleged corruption in the Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project in the state of Telangana. Remember, the Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project is a multi-purpose irrigation project on the Godavari River in Telangana.
These are the visuals straight from Jantar Mandir, as this is the place where YS Sharmila started her protest. She clearly stated that she wants to get the attention of all the parliamentarians and the nation towards the biggest scam which is done by the KCR government in the Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project. So she has taken to the streets of national capital, again showing you the visuals as Karyakartas are being taken by the Delhi police officials, and the CRPF is continuously trying to explain to Karyakartas that this is the point. They cannot go further from this very point. And YS Sharmila along with Karyakartas is resisting and asking the Delhi police officials so that they could move further from this place, from this barricade. But these are the visuals on your screen. YS Sharmila on your screen as Delhi police official takes YS Sharmila. Will she be detained? I don't know. But
justice should prevail. Justice should prevail. We want an inquiry into Kaleshwaram. We want an inquiry into the biggest scam of India. This is the biggest scam of India I am fighting for.
So these are the visuals from Jantar Mandir as YS Sharmila detained by the Delhi police officials. She is being taken to the nearest police station, and the CRPF continuously taking all the Karyakartas back. Ma'am, आप लोग तेलंगाना से आए हैं, तेलंगाना में आज ये मुद्दा उठाया है YS शर्मिला ने। कुछ दिन पहले हमने के कविता को देखा था, वो महिला रिजर्वेशन बिल के लिए यहाँ पहुंची थी। ये कहा जाए कि तेलंगाना की दो महत्वपूर्ण महिला लीडर्स जो है वो इन दिनों दिल्ली में मौजूद हैं अलग अलग इश्यूज को लेकर।
हम YSR तेलंगाना पार्टी के ओर से तेलंगाना से इधर आए। राजशेखर रेड्डी साहब की लड़की हमारे YSR तेलंगाना पार्टी की चीफ है, तो वहाँ पर कालेश्वरम प्रोजेक्ट में एक निवेदन दिया। वो 1,20,000 करोड़ का घोटाला हुआ, वो 35,000 करोड़ का था प्रोजेक्ट, फिर उसको बढ़ाया 70,000 करा, फिर बाद में 1,20,000 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट जो बनाया, फिर भी वो 1 साल 1.5 साल में जो प्रोजेक्ट डूब गया पानी में।
And a quick roundup of news and brief from across the country. Union Minister Anurag Thakur launched a scathing attack on Rahul Gandhi, questioning why does he not attend the parliament, and also said that he has not left a single opportunity to malign India's image on international level. Anurag Thakur further added that he is not allowed to speak in parliament, but his attendance in Lok Sabha is lower than the average attendance of MPs in parliament.
और देश से बाहर जाकर आप देश को बदनाम करने का काम करते हो, भारत को दुनिया भर में बदनाम करने का काम करते हो। राहुल जी, आपको तुरंत वापस आकर सदन में, जहां देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, सांसदों से, संसद से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, वहीं पर देश की सीमा पर सैनिकों से माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
Anurag Thakur, while addressing the media, also demanded an apology from Rahul Gandhi for his remarks in UK on the democracy, saying that Rahul must apologize to every citizen of the country.
जहां देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, सांसदों से, संसद से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, वहीं पर देश की सीमा पर सैनिकों से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, देश की महिलाओं से, मजदूरों से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, देश के उस गरीब मजदूर से जो अपनी खून पसीना बहाकर देश को सींचता है, आगे बढ़ाता है, जिसके चरण धोकर मोदी जी उनका सम्मान करते हैं, और दूसरी ओर दुनिया के देशों में जाकर भारत का अपमान करने में लगते हो।
On the demand of a JPC inquiry into the Adani matter, the opposition parties held a meet on the Adani controversy in the Chamber of Congress. President and leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, over the demand of a JPC that should be formed to investigate the matter.
क्यों माफी मांगेंगे राहुल जी? क्या किया गुना की माफी मांगना है? माफी इन लोगों को मांगना चाहिए।
और प्रियंका गांधी का नाम भी सर आ रहा है,
तो ये करेगा साजिश, तो बढ़ते चलेंगे साजिश, कोई परवाह नहीं हमें, जो मर्जी कर ले।
And the latest in the Poli resort case, the former sub-divisional officer Jairam Deshpande, who was suspended from the Sai resort case, has now been arrested by the ED in this case. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi held a meeting with his top ministers, including Prahlad Joshi, Piyush Goyal, Narendra Singh Tomar, Kiran Rijiju, among others, as the second day of the Parliament has begun. Meanwhile, on the demand of a JPC that should be formed to investigate the matter, opposition parties held a meet on the Adani controversy and continued with the demand for a JPC inquiry into the Adani matter. The former sub-divisional officer Jairam Deshpande, who was suspended in the Sai resort case, has now been arrested by the ED team from Mumbai. Meanwhile, an interim relief to Anil Parab by Bombay High Court in the case has been granted till the 20th of March. The Enforcement Directorate has summoned IS officer Rajiv Aroneka to join probe on 15th of March in connection with a purported video in which he was seen signing some documents while allegedly sitting at Vishal Chaudhary's residence, who is under the scanner in the Pooja Singhal case. The Karnataka Congress meanwhile staged protest at Toll Plaza in Ramnagar district over toll levied on motorists using the Mysuru-Bengaluru expressway. And fire broke out at Aligarh Municipal Corporation, the fire brigade reached the spot to douse the flames. According to sources, underground pipes which were used for the work of Smart City caught fire just 20 steps away from the SP's office. Body of an unidentified woman was found inside a plastic drum found lying at a railway station last night. In Bengaluru, the CCTV footage of 3 people carrying the drum and leaving it at the railway station is being examined by the police. Now, Cleric Toki Raza has spewed venom again with his controversial remarks, claiming that if the rhetoric of those who desire Hindu Rashtra is acceptable, then so is the call for Khalistan or even a separate Muslim country. He said, and I quote, "What if our Muslim youth start to demand a separate Muslim state tomorrow?" Following this, a case has been registered in Moradabad. So, of course, Cleric Toki Raza, who's in the center of controversy yet again for his controversial remarks. Let's listen into those remarks that were made by him, where he said, called for a Hindu, in fact, called for a separate country.
वो हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करने वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, 23 दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए, वरना हमें अंदेशा इस बात का है कि कल ऐसा ना हो कि हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले इतनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे।
All right, so there you heard Toki Raza. It's not the first time, of course, that he's made such controversial remarks. This time he's called for a separate country. Let's go across to VHP leader Vinod Bansal, who's joining us. Mr. Bansal, how do you read into these remarks? Not the first time that he's made such remarks, but why do you think that every time he gets away after he makes such controversial remarks?
Actually, बात ये है कि देश के इतने सारे टुकड़े करने के बाद भी अभी इन लोगों की हजरत पूरी नहीं हुई। और ये लगातार जिस तरह से अफगानिस्तान लिया, पाकिस्तान लिया, बांग्लादेश लिया, उसके बाद आज की बात करते हैं, इनको शर्म आनी चाहिए, इन्हें भारत का रहना है या कहीं और रहना है। अगर हमको इस्लामिक राष्ट्र चाहिए तो बहुत सारे इस्लामिक राष्ट्र हैं जहाँ पर के मुसलमानों को खा रहा है, वहीं पर चले जाना ज्यादा बेटर है। भारत को इस तरह का कोई देश नहीं चाहिए, इस तरह का राष्ट्र नहीं चाहिए। भारत वो राष्ट्र है जिसमें सब लोग मिलकर के रहते हैं, और हिंदू राष्ट्र की परिकल्पना और मुस्लिम राष्ट्र की परिकल्पना में जमीन आसमान का अंतर है। ये देश के और टुकड़े जो करने की जो मंशा रखते हैं, इनको इस मानसिकता से बाहर जाना पड़ेगा। इसी तरह की देश विभाजन की जो मानसिकता है वो बहुत गंभीर है। ऐसे लोगों को जिनको जो जिन्ना बनने का सबसे पहले बैठे हैं, उनको अपनी मानसिकता को काबू करना पड़ेगा। अन्यथा तो भारत की जानती है इन लोगों के साथ कैसा करना चाहिए। बात संविधान की करते हैं, दुहाई न्याय व्यवस्था की देते हैं, और काम जो है ना भारत खंडबंद करके और उसको काटने फाटने का काम करते हैं लोग। ये इस तरह के तौकीर रजा जैसे जो मुस्लिम लीडर्स हैं, उनकी लीडरशिप से मुस्लिम समुदाय को भी अपने क्योंकि यही जो बदनाम की राह पर के लिए हैं। इस्लामिक जगत को और मुस्लिम समुदाय को ऐसी से अपने आप को बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा। अन्यथा तो ग्लोबली जिस तरह इस्लाम की छवि ये लोग खराब कर रहे हैं, वो और ज्यादा खराब होती चली जाएगी। इस तरह के नेताओं मैं ये भी कहूँगा कि उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार ऐसे नेता के विरुद्ध कठोरतम कार्रवाई भी सुनिश्चित करे, खंडन करने की ये सपना पाले बैठे हैं। इस तरह के लोगों के खिलाफ कठोरतम कार्रवाई होना बहुत जरूरी है। जो आए दिन जो है ना इस तरह की बयानबाजी में हाईलाइट रहने के अपने जो सपने पाले रहते हैं, इसलिए इनको करना कुछ नहीं है। समुदाय के लोगों को भड़काते जाओ, मुस्लिम यूथ को जो है वो देश विरोध में खड़े करते जाओ और अब राजनीतिक नोटिस छेपते जाओ, यही इनका मंशा है। कहने को तो ये मौलाना है और काम में इनका भड़काना है। लगातार इस तरह की जो बकवास ये करते रहते हैं, ऐसे मौलाना को।
Yes, and Mr. Bansal, that's the point. You know, let's see the kind of action that's initiated against the cleric. Not the first time, of course, but these statements that go on to reflect how such statements very much speak volumes about the mindset of this cleric who's now been booked by the police. In fact, let's listen into a reaction that's also come in from the police official.
देखिए, तौफीक रजा नाम के व्यक्ति हैं जिनके द्वारा नागफनी थाने में उनका एक वीडियो वायरल हो रहा है, मीडिया के माध्यम से उनको जानकारी प्राप्त हुई है, जिसमें उनके द्वारा कुछ आपत्तिजनक बयान दिए गए हैं, जिसमें कि सांप्रदायिक भावना भड़काना और अन्य इस तरह की जो धमकी देना और इस तरह के जो भड़काऊ जो बयान है दिए हैं। इसमें आईपीसी की धारा 153A, 295A और 505(2) के तहत मुकदमा इसमें पंजीकृत किया गया है और इसमें आगे की विधिक कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
क्या सर और वीडियो को भी आधार बनाया जाएगा इसमें जो पुरानी वीडियो?
इसमें कुछ मीडिया के माध्यम से कुछ वीडियो मिले हैं और बाकी इनके द्वारा जो स्टेटमेंट दिया है उसकी वीडियो जो हम लोगों को मिले हैं उनकी जांच करके इसमें आगे की इसमें कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
All right, coming up on the other side, it's big trouble for the BJP ahead of elections in Karnataka as MLA takes a swipe at Yediyurappa for announcing seat for his son. And swift and shocking collapse of two American banks prompts fears of a broader upheaval in the financial space.
Institutions, when the ED goes after you, these protests don't happen.
Obviously, you don't understand English. What can I?
I understand English, sir. That's why I'm asking. Mr. Rahul Gandhi raised the issue of institutions. When ED goes after you, these protests don't.
Your English is wrong.
आपने बस ये बोलना चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो तुम्हारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित
उनसे एक बार मिलते होता है, मिलते होता है।
Complete ruckus. This is the right now on the screen. That's on your screen, babe. That's Chidambaram right now. On telegram, he's arrested. On the screen, Mr. Chidambaram. That's Mr. Chidambaram.
विदेशी धरती में जाके भारत का अपमान किया गया, भारत के सब संस्थानों का अपमान किया गया और विशेषकर पार्लियामेंट का अपमान किया।
For the second consecutive day, Rahul's India insult rocks the parliament.
राहुल गांधी जी का कैम्ब्रिज क्राइस, लंदन लाइव, इससे साफ तौर पर दिखता है कि वो देश को अपमानित करने का कोई भी क्षण नहीं छोड़ रहे।
INB Minister slams Rahul, says Congress must stop Cambridge cries and London lies. Congress goes all out to defend Rahul Gandhi, rules out apology for his comment on democracy.
हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करते वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, 23 दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए कि कल ऐसा ना हो कि हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले कितनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे।
FIR against Congress-backed Cleric for his provocative and polarizing Muslim Rashtra comment. It is big trouble for BJP ahead of the elections. BJP MLA takes a swipe at Yerurappa for announcing seat for his son. Swift and shocking collapse of two American banks prompts fears of a broader upheaval. Good afternoon, you're watching Live and Breaking at 1:30. I'm Suesha Samant, and the top story we are getting you in this edition. Now, according to reports in the US media, it has emerged that ahead of the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank, many of the company's top executives sold their shares worth nearly $4.5 million. Bank CEO Gregory Becker, CFO Daniel Beck, and Chief Marketing Officer Michelle Draper sold their shares of the bank's parent company, Silicon Valley Bank Financial Group. Now, they have been sued by shareholders as US regulators have been caught napping in this case. Globally, the rout in markets due to the US banking collapse is estimated at nearly $495 billion, which is now a huge matter of concern. And this could also have an impact on the global markets, which is visible in some ways. Not just that, you would remember how these banks themselves were assuring their clients that there is no need of a pullout and all is well. But now we see top executives themselves who have decided to dump the stocks before the collapse. Also, what Joe Biden has said on this matter, let's listen in.
During the Obama-Biden administration, we put in place tough requirements on banks like Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, including the Dodd-Frank law to make sure that the crisis we saw in 2008 would not happen again. Unfortunately, the last administration rolled back some of these requirements. I'm going to ask Congress and the banking regulators to strengthen the rules for banks to make it less likely this kind of bank failure would happen again, and to protect American jobs and small businesses. During the Obama-Biden administration, we put in place tough requirements on banks like Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, including the Dodd-Frank law to make sure that the crisis we saw in 2008 would not happen again. Unfortunately, the last administration rolled back some of these requirements. I'm going to ask Congress and the banking regulators to strengthen the rules for banks to make it less likely this kind of bank failure would happen again, and to protect American jobs.
Rohit Srivastava, founder of India Charts, is now joining us on the broadcast to help us break down these details. Rohit, I firstly want to come to you on the India impact. Certain reports are suggesting that a 116-year-old bank in India is also now affected because of the Silicon Valley Bank meltdown. And the RBI itself is also weighing the effect on banks and NBFCs at this point. How are you really looking at it?
Well, first things first, given that the US has assured that the deposits that were made with Silicon Valley Bank are safe and likely to be repaid with the FDIC stepping in, even large depositors might get their money back. So I think a direct risk from SV Bank itself is unlikely. What markets are really fearing and reeling over is the potential that there are more such, failures possible or not. People are starting to relate with what happened in 2008. You have one failure and then after some time, more show up because behind all of this, you have the fastest rate hiking cycle in the US that we have really seen in an attempt to really fight off inflation. And so that attempt has raised the risks that somewhere in the system, someone may get hurt by those rising rates. We saw the same thing happen in UK when you had the insurance crisis 6 months ago. Now you're seeing that happen in the US. Will there be any other fallout of this? Are there any institutions that have been hurt by rising rates? Is something to be seen, because you don't come to know these things upfront from the data. It's only when it's made public, that you get to know that something has happened. And so that is, I think, the bigger fear and overhang in the minds of markets. Otherwise, the current crisis standalone would appear to be done with, given all the intervention that they've really put in place.
All right, Rohit, I must say, still sounding very positive. And like you're saying, that not as much of a matter of panic, but the global effects of this collapse are really emerging now with every passing day. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. For the moment, thank you for joining us. And as we continue to bring our viewers more voices, the swift and shocking collapse of the two American banks that have prompted fears of a broader upheaval across the globe. And this is how global leaders are reacting to this meltdown.
Calm down and just have a look at the reality. The reality is that the banks that you just mentioned, and I would say the French banking system, is not exposed to the Silicon Valley Bank. Is not exposed to the Silicon Valley Bank. So there is no links between the different situations. There is no specific concern for the French banks. Of course, we are looking very closely at the situation, but when you are looking at the economic model and the financial model of the BNP, Société Générale and other French banks, it is radically different from the model of the Silicon Valley Bank.
Well, we don't see a specific risk of contagion. Of course, we are monitoring the situation in close contact with the ECB. We appreciate, we take note of the initiative taken by the US authorities to avoid in US a contagion. And also we stress the fact that European
This is more breaking news coming in after Rahul Gandhi's anti-India rant. The RSS has now hit out at Rahul Gandhi. RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale has said that I think there is no reason to comment on it. They follow their own political agenda. Everyone knows the reality of RSS. As a prominent leader of the opposition, he must express more responsibility. Let's listen into that comment by RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale, who has hit out at Rahul Gandhi now, slamming his speech in London, saying that no matter how much Rahul Gandhi tries to bring down the RSS, everyone knows the reality of RSS, and this is Rahul Gandhi who's really following his own political agenda. Also going on to say that as a prominent leader of the opposition, he must express more responsibility. Aishwarya Kapoor, Senior Executive Editor Politics, is now with us on the phone line. Aishwarya, we saw Anurag Thakur hitting out at Rahul Gandhi, and now RSS also slamming Rahul Gandhi, in a sense really exposing him when it comes to his political responsibilities, as opposed to just going on to international platforms time and again to downgrade India.
Well, absolutely. And you see the Sar Karyava of the RSS, that is Dattatreya Hosabale, hitting out and giving a clear indication that this cannot be accepted by any politician, and especially by the Gandhis, who have ruled this country for the longest period of time. And now, when they are not in power, now when they are not in control, they would speak about India. They would speak about what are the issues in India. So what is happening is that we've seen the political class, even in the parliament, we've seen that how the complete, not only the treasury benches, but even parts of the opposition benches have stood up and raised this issue against the Gandhi, against Rahul Gandhi, that how can he speak ill about India? The same country which has given what not to not only the Gandhi family, but also to the Congress. So at the end of the day, now it is the RSS and the Sar Karyava of the RSS, Dattatreya Hosabale, after Mohan Bhagwat, one of the senior most leaders in the Sangh, hitting out at Rahul Gandhi. And basically, it's his immaturity. It's his political immaturity and the sheer desperation. Because we've seen that Rahul Gandhi is even seeking help from the US. saying that why isn't the US acting upon on what is happening in India? So what is the reality is that the sheer desperation of the Congress party not able to gain power democratically in India through the votes of this country is now being represented in their views overseas. They are trying to represent as if the Indian democracy and the people of this country who have voted for have not happened through the process because they are not in power. So that desperation, Suesha, that sheer frustration of unable to defeat Modi and Shah in a democratically elected process is now coming out in the open.
Absolutely, it is, Aishwarya. And let's now play out that statement by RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale, who has gone on to slam Rahul Gandhi.
परिवार प्रबोधन का परिवार के अंदर सामंजस्य परिवार एक रहे इस दृष्टि से आग्रह ये मैंने बताया अपने फैमिली के बारे में आज दुनिया भर में इसकी चर्चा हुई है और हिंदू समाज को तो गर्व से कहना चाहिए कि हम दुनिया के लिए फैमिली सिस्टम को एक आदर्श के रूप में हम दे सकते हैं। कई कारणों से एक्सटर्नल इंटरनल रीजंस कुछ समस्या परिवार में हो सकती है, लेकिन हम इस विषय के बारे में परिवार प्रबोधन से करते हैं। बहुत अच्छे प्रयोग भी परिवार के सामंजस्य को बनाए रखना, परिवार के अंदर सांस्कृतिक सेवा कार्य कैसे चले इसके बारे में सैकड़ों उदाहरण हमारे पास है।
सर नमस्कार, मेरा नाम रविकांत राय है, मैं 9th नव भारत से हूँ। मेरे दो सवाल हैं। सर आपने जिक्र भी किया कि कोई व्यक्ति देश के बाहर जाकर भारत के बारे में उल्टी सीधी बातें करते हैं और खासतौर पर संघ को लेकर राहुल गांधी ने हाल के दिनों में मुस्लिम ब्रदरहुड, फांसीवादी संगठन जैसी बातें कही हैं। मेरा दूसरा सवाल ये है, क्या संघ की शाखाओं में जो महिलाओं की एंट्री की बातचीत हो रही है जिस पर विचार चल रहा था, इस बैठक में कोई फैसला हुआ है क्या उस पर?
पहले विषय के बारे में कहता हूँ, मुझे लगता है इसके बारे में कमेंट करने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। वो अपने पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा से चलते हैं, हमारा और उनका कंपटीशन पॉलिटिकल फील्ड के हमारा नहीं है। वो संघ के बारे में कहते तो मैं इतना ही कहूँगा, कांग्रेस के उनके पूर्वजों ने भी संघ के ऊपर बहुत सारे ऐसे किया। देश के लोग भी दुनिया के लोग भी संघ को अपने अनुभव से देख रहे हैं, सीख रहे हैं। रियलिटी क्या है सबको मालूम है, शायद वो भी जानते होंगे, लेकिन मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूँ, एक प्रमुख राजनीतिक पक्ष के प्रमुख नेता के नाते he should express more responsibly and see the reality. महिला सहभागिता के बारे में मैं इतना ही कहूँगा कि शाखा में महिला ये संघ में हमने चर्चा नहीं की। मीडिया में चर्चा बहुत लोगों ने की होगी, हमने नहीं की। संघ के शाखा प्रत्यक्ष जो होता है वो पुरुषों के एक्टिविटी है। सुबह 5:30 बजे इकट्ठे होते हैं, शाम को 8 बजे इकट्ठे होते हैं, पुरुषों के कार्यक्रम चलते हैं, वहाँ खेल होता है, ड्रिल होता है, दंड करते हैं।
Rakesh Sinha is also with us on the phone line now. Rakesh Sinha, this is the RSS hitting out at Rahul Gandhi, and he has been a repeat offender in the way he has been projecting the RSS, that too on global platforms time and again. We also saw Union Minister Anurag Thakur hit out at him, asking accountability of how much he fulfills his responsibility as a politician. What do you have to say as the RSS now cautions Rahul Gandhi over these statements?
You know, RSS has a very aptly questioned his very integrity as far as he is going abroad and degrading India, Indian democracy, Indian people. In fact, Rahul has waged a war against India in the Oxford University by claiming that India lacks democratic tradition. He is in fact negating the very high and very applauded tradition of Indian democracy. At the same time, he has no respect for the mandate which Indian government, Indian people have given for Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Bharatiya Janata Party. Moreover, this has been a well-established tradition that soil and the foreign audience, the domestic leaders never discuss the internal politics. Rahul Gandhi is a failed politician, and his failure is being applauded by the Oxford University. In fact, those people who are against India, they declaim India's emergence as a global power and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vital role in global affairs. They are taking soliciting the help of people like Rahul Gandhi to deface Indian democracy, Indian leadership, and India's progress. It is not only the matter of condemnation, but it is anti-national action of Rahul Gandhi. If it is not anti-national, then we must define what is anti-national. At the foreign soil, sometimes he stands for China. Now he is degrading the democratic person. Recently, we have election in northeastern states, Tripura, Nagaland, and Meghalaya. We have seen how the democratic tradition is being privileging the people, and people are privileged by the democracy. And at the same time, Rahul Gandhi is going abroad and declaiming India's democracy. He lost the moral right to remain in the parliament. He's acting as an anti-national, just a shadow of the anti-national forces who have been active both in India and outside against the emergence of India. And in a nutshell, I will say, Rahul Gandhi has waged the war against the Indian people.
All right, Rakesh Sinha, many thanks for speaking to Republic this afternoon. Let's once again listen into that statement by RSS General Secretary as he goes on to caution Rahul Gandhi over the statements made on foreign soil time and again, and most importantly, projecting the RSS in wrong light.
पहले विषय के बारे में कहता हूँ, मुझे लगता है इसके बारे में कमेंट करने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। वो अपने पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा से चलते हैं, हमारा और उनका कंपटीशन पॉलिटिकल फील्ड के हमारा नहीं है। वो संघ के बारे में कहते तो मैं इतना ही कहूँगा, कांग्रेस के उनके पूर्वजों ने भी संघ के ऊपर बहुत सारे ऐसे किया। देश के लोग भी, दुनिया के लोग भी संघ को अपने अनुभव से देख रहे, सीख रहे हैं। रियलिटी क्या है सबको मालूम है, शायद वो भी जानते होंगे, लेकिन मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूं, एक प्रमुख राजनीतिक पक्ष के प्रमुख नेता के नाते he should express more responsibly and see the reality.
On that note, we slip into a very short commercial break. On the other side, we also get you details as an FIR has been registered against Congress-backed Cleric for his provocative and polarizing Muslim Rashtra comments. And there's big trouble for the BJP ahead of the elections in Karnataka, where BJP MLA has taken a swipe at Yediyurappa after he announced a seat for his son.
Right now we are showing you visuals straight from Jantar Mantar as YSRTP is protesting against KCR in the national capital. This is the place where YS Sharmila started her protest. She clearly stated that she wants to get the attention of all the parliamentarians and the nation towards the biggest scam which is done by the KCR government in the Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project. As YS Sharmila is detained by the Delhi police officials, she is being taken to the nearest police station.
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVRP scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders? Are you ashamed of the fact that to Republic? institutions. When the ED goes after you, these protests don't happen.
Obviously, you don't understand English. What can I?
I understand English, sir. That's why I'm asking Mr. Rahul Gandhi raise the issue of institutions. When ED goes after you, these protests don't.
Your English is wrong.
President Joe Biden and leaders of Australia and UK announced that Australia will purchase nuclear-powered attack submarines from the US to modernize its fleet amid growing concerns about China's influence in the Indo-Pacific. Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the situation on the eastern front lines remains very tough. Zelensky stressed on the need for more sanctions against Russia. He also thanked Canada for expanding sanctions on imports of Russian aluminium and steel. Former Prime Minister of Pakistan Imran Khan rallied thousands of supporters in eastern Pakistan. Protests took place after court in the capital of Islamabad issued 2 more arrest warrants against him for failing to appear before judges in graft and terrorism cases. We're slipping into a short commercial break. On the other side, we get you details. It's big trouble for BJP ahead of the elections in Karnataka, where BJP MLA has taken a swipe at Yediyurappa for announcing a seat for his son. And the swift and shocking collapse of 2 American banks that prompts fears of a broader upheaval.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVRP scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders? Are you ashamed of the fact that to Republic?
आपने बस ये बोलना चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो तुम्हारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित।
उनसे एक बार मिल तो लो सर, मिल तो लो सर।
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated.
Thank you for staying with Republican. Well, Russian forces have made progress in their campaign to capture the city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine, the focus of the war's longest ground battle, but their assault will be difficult to sustain without more significant personal losses. But Ukraine paratroopers fight back, operating from close to the LOC. Here's a report.
Days after Russian troops opened its campaign to take control of Bakhmut in August, the Ukrainian military paratroopers are fighting back. Ukrainian troops have initiated operating close to the line of contact with Russian forces. Watch how the soldiers from the 95th Air Assault Brigade in armored personnel carriers are running and entering the trenches. And with the fight for Bakhmut only intensifying, there appears to be no apparent end to the raging Russia-Ukraine war. Agency report, Republic TV.
Commercial break. On the other side, INB Minister slams Rahul, says Congress must stop Cambridge cries and London lies.
Public workers. This is the right now on the screen. That's on your screen, babe. That's P. Chidambaram right now. He's arrested. On the screen. Mr. Chidambaram. That's Mr. Chidambaram. We have
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVRP scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders? Are you ashamed of the fact that to Republic?
आपने बस ये बोलना चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो तुम्हारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित।
उनसे एक बार मिल तो लो सर, मिल तो लो सर।
Federal Reserve will review its supervision of Silicon Valley Bank after it collapsed in the second largest US bank failure on record. United States, United Kingdom and Australia revealed the plan for the acquisition of nuclear-powered submarines. Time for a break. On the other side, FIR against Congress-backed Cleric for his provocative and polarizing Muslim Rashtra comment.
Here's the issue of institutions. When the ED goes after you, these protests don't happen.
Obviously, you don't understand English. What can I?
I understand English, sir. That's why I'm asking Mr. Rahul Gandhi raise the issue of institutions. When ED goes after you, these protests don't.
Your English is wrong.
Public workers. Chidambaram has been arrested. This is the right now on the screen. That's on your screen, babe. That's P. Chidambaram right now. He's arrested. On the screen. Mr. Chidambaram. That's Mr. Chidambaram. We have
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVRP scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders? Are you ashamed of the fact that to Republic?
आपने बस ये बोलना चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो तुम्हारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित।
उनसे एक बार मिल तो लो सर।
Mr. Srivastava, our top focus remains the showdown in the Parliament over Rahul Gandhi's remarks at the speeches he made in several of those events in London, tracking all those updates very closely, starting first with the top headlines.
किस प्रकार से विदेशी धरती में जाके भारत का अपमान किया गया, भारत के सब संस्थानों का अपमान किया गया और विशेषकर पार्लियामेंट का अपमान किया गया।
For the second consecutive day, Rahul's India insults rocks the Parliament.
राहुल गांधी जी का कैम्ब्रिज क्राइस, लंदन लाइज, इससे साफ तौर पर दिखता है कि वो देश को अपमानित करने का कोई भी क्षण नहीं छोड़ रहे।
INB Minister slams Rahul Gandhi, says Congress must stop Cambridge cries and London lies. Goes all out to defend Rahul Gandhi, rules out apology for his comment on democracy.
वो हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करने वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, तेज दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए कि कल ऐसा ना हो कि ये हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले कितनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे।
FIR against Congress-backed Cleric for his provocative and polarizing Muslim Rashtra comment. And it's big trouble for the BJP ahead of elections in Karnataka as BJP MLA takes a swipe at Yediyurappa for announcing seat for his son. Swift and shocking collapse of two American banks prompts fears of a broader financial upheaval. And our top focus remains the uproar and sloganeering inside the Parliament, which continues with the central government demanding an apology from the Congress MP on the floor of the House. Meanwhile, the latter claims that Rahul Gandhi has said nothing wrong. Now, remember, Rahul Gandhi, while he attended those events in London, made several of those speeches where he said democracy is under attack in the country, going on to add that democracy is dead in India. In fact, these remarks that have triggered backlash from across the spectrum. We spoke to Union Minister Anurag Thakur on him seeking an apology from the Gandhi side.
लोकतंत्र की जननी, मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी भारत को माना जाता है। ये बात अलग है कि लोकतंत्र का अपमान करना, आर्टिकल 356 का दुरुपयोग करना कांग्रेस पार्टी ने किया है। और राहुल गांधी जी को याद करवाना चाहता हूँ, इमरजेंसी देश में लगाई तो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने लगाई। पत्रकारों को जेल में डालना, नेताओं को जेल में डालने का काम कांग्रेस ने किया। अल्पसंख्यकों की हत्या और बलात्कार करने का काम सिखों के साथ किसी ने किया तो कांग्रेस के नेताओं ने किया और उनको संरक्षण देने का काम सोनिया जी और राहुल जी ने किया। अगर कश्मीर में पथरावबाजी से लेकर तिरंगे झंडे को जलाने, अपमानित करने का काम हो तो कांग्रेस के समय हुआ। मोदी जी की सरकार के समय वहाँ पीस और प्रॉस्पेरिटी आई है, वहाँ पे शांति और वहाँ पे लोगों का आना जाना ज़्यादा बढ़ा है। इसलिए तो राहुल गांधी, प्रियंका गांधी जाके बर्फ के गोलों से खेल रहे थे। यही नहीं, सदन को अपमानित कर, बदनाम कर, विदेशी धरती से, और सदन जब चल रहा है तब यहाँ से गायब रहना, जो औसतन हाजिरी सांसदों की देश में है उससे बहुत कम राहुल गांधी जी की। क्या है विदेश में उनका? सदन जरूरी है कि विदेश में यात्रा जरूरी है? देश को और सदन को और सैनिकों को अपमानित किया।
भारत के बाहर विदेशी भूमि में भारत के ऊपर आक्रमण किया, भारत के पार्लियामेंट के ऊपर, भारत के सदन के पार्लियामेंट के बारे में जो गलतफहमियां बनाई हैं और जिस तरीके से बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से हमारे सदन के बारे में, स्पीकर और चेयरमैन के बारे में और एक प्रकार से भारत के लोकतंत्र के बारे में जिस प्रकार से एक नेता ने हस्तक्षेप किया है, ये बहुत ही गंभीर विषय। इसमें भारत के सदन में उन्होंने आके माफी मांगनी चाहिए। एक तरफ तो मानना दुनिया देश के गुणगान गा रही है। एक तरफ G20 होने जा रहा है, हमारी प्रेसिडेंसी है, पूरा विश्व भारत की तरफ देख, पूरे विश्व को चिंता है अलग अलग गंभीर समस्याओं की। भारत उसमें एक नेतृत्व कर रहा है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के ऊपर पूरे विश्व के देश के नेताओं की आज आशाएं टिकी हुई है कि वो विश्व की समस्याओं का समाधान करने में जुटे हुए हैं। वो जब पूरे विश्व के लिए एक प्रकार से रोल मॉडल, यहाँ तक के इटली की प्रधानमंत्री भी कहती है कि विश्व के सबसे लोकप्रिय नेता माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी। आज कोई भी विदेश में जाए तो आज भारत का मान बनता है। ऐसे में एक वरिष्ठ नेता जाके भारत को, भारत के सदन को, भारत के पार्लियामेंट को, भारत की सभी संस्थाओं को, चाहे इलेक्शन कमीशन हो, हमारे न्यायालय, जुडिशरी को, हर एक के बारे में इस प्रकार से अगर वक्तव्य थे, इस प्रकार के प्रेजेंटेशन थे, तो मैं समझता हूँ ये देश के लिए बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण स्थिति है और उन्होंने माफी मांगनी चाहिए। सदन के अंदर आके देशवासियों से माफी, चेयर से माफी और सभी हम सब मेंबर्स का भी अधिकार, हम सबका भी प्रिविलेज है कि भारत के पार्लियामेंट की रिस्पेक्ट की जाए। मैं आपसे अनुरोध करूंगा, आप डायरेक्ट करें चेयर से कि उन्होंने माफी मांगी चाहिए, सदन में आके माफी मांगी।
श्री प्रमोद तिवारी
उनको नहीं बुलाया है, हमको बुला लिया कहने तो दे।
प्रमोद तिवारी, श्री प्रमोद तिवारी।
चेयरमैन साहब, मुझे सिर्फ ये कहना है कि हमारे साथी इनकी प्रिविलेज नोटिस अपनी जगह पर, अगर ये चर्चा चाहते हैं तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो बोला है चीन की धरती पे, कोरिया की धरती
ऑनरेबल मेंबर्स,
उस पर भी चर्चा हो जाए।
ऑनरेबल मेंबर्स,
माफी मांगनी चाहिए,
प्लीज
माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
श्री शक्ति सिंह गोयल seeks to raise a point of order. Please, sir. Rule 238A. Sir, rule 2. अरे भैया privilege पे बोल रहा हूँ. Rule 238A, sir, which clearly says no allegation of defamatory and incriminatory nature shall be made by a member against any other member or member of the house. यहाँ पे सर जो हाउस के लीडर कह रहे हैं, सदन के नेता, वो लोकसभा के मेंबर को, और मैंने प्रिविलेज नोटिस दिया है सर। मेरे प्रिविलेज नोटिस के अंदर मैंने पुराने जो किस्से हैं उसको कोट किया है कि नाम मेंबर का नहीं भी लिया हो, मेंबर का नाम नहीं भी लिया हो, पर जनरल नेचर में लोकसभा के मेंबर का यहाँ पे जिक्र नहीं हो सकता है। अगर इसी बात को लेना है तो प्रधानमंत्री जी विदेश में जाके हमारे देश की बदनामी जो करते थे, हमारे देश You made your point. 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 ये जो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा था कि हिंदुस्तान में जन्म लेना, Honorable members, the leader of the opposition yesterday raised a point of order. I am seized of the matter. I had indicated I will give my order today. I have had the benefit of interaction with leader of the opposition today. I have also had benefit of interacting with senior members of the main opposition party and the treasury benches also. In this connection, we are having a meeting at 2:30 also. I have indicated to the honorable members who interacted with me that this is a very critical issue. We are required to give a final view to this, because this will define what we can debate, what we cannot debate.
The issue has been agitated by leader of the opposition with clarity. Yes. And it has been pointed out what leader of the house has said. So though with clarity, leader of the house has been very focused on what he said. Leader सर रिपीटेशन तो दिग्विजय सिंह जी वकील की हैसियत से मैंने भी कई बार किया, तो रिपीटेशन नहीं होना चाहिए, पर रिपीटेशन तो सभी ने कभी न कभी जरूर किया होगा। दिग्विजय सिंह जी, वन सेकंड, दिग्विजय सिंह जी, you can be charged for repeating as a chief minister for a second term. So repetition तो होता है. So repeat is emphasis. Meaning thereby repetition is healthy for democracy. Am I right? No, repetition. Digvijay Singh is right, is healthy.
We are not permitting for repetition. Our rule says repetition is not permitted in the house.
Honorable members.
Our rule says.
Honorable members.
How by the rules? Rules can make repetition permissible.
One second. Honorable members. Mr. Shakti Singh Goyal ji had sent a communication to me. Communication of every member of parliament is attended by me with expedition. I have gone through his communication. It's very well worded. We have sought an input from him. And we have requested him, he must be getting the communication, if not already got it, to make it available at the earliest. While the communication was very well premised, the factual part of it was not indicated there. So we have requested him to give that. He'll get it. I'm seized of the matter. I can assure you, any issue raised by any member in any capacity whatsoever will engage me with full involvement, and I will certainly take a call on it. I have devoted major part today and yesterday in interacting with honorable members. We have examined the situation, the constitutional provisions, the rules we have framed, the directives that have been imparted by earlier chairman, the directives that have been imparted in the Lok Sabha, the situation that is obtaining elsewhere in the globe, and then we have to take a view. Suppose we hold today that even if the entire house is of one voice, but the rule comes in between for discussion, we will have to deal with that. So we are meeting the floor leaders today at 2:30, and I am sure you will get my ruling at the earliest, maybe during course of the day or tomorrow, because this is subject to interaction and being enlightened. I on my own cannot have a point of view. I will have a point of view where I will coalesce all other points of view and then take a call. So I am seized of your matter. You have raised it very carefully, except on one point, that you did not provide me the factual premise on which you seek intervention. You think it is part of the proceeding. I have indicated in my response to you that please spell it out, so that I have before me a factual matrix and then take a call. Mr. Bhupendra Yadav.
संविधान के आर्टिकल 79
भूपेंद्र जी, only on this point.
Only on this point.
No transgression this side or that side.
Nothing, sir. सर, संविधान के आर्टिकल 79 में शब्द पार्लियामेंट का उपयोग किया है सर। सर, पार्लियामेंट में राज्यसभा और लोकसभा दोनों आती है। मेरा आपके सामने इस हाउस के दो इंसिडेंट बताने का है। 1957 में सर राज्यसभा की रूल बुक्स में लिखा गया है सर, उस समय लोकसभा के एक सदस्य एनसी चटर्जी होते थे, उन्होंने चेन्नई में जाकर के हाउस के इनेक्शन के खिलाफ बोला और उनका राज्यसभा के अंतर्गत संज्ञान लिया गया और संज्ञान लेकर यह कहा गया कि चूंकि ये हाउस की प्रोसीडिंग के खिलाफ बोला गया है, मैं भी दूसरे हाउस का मेंबर हूं। सेम 1987 में उनके जो बेटे थे हमारे सोमनाथ चटर्जी जी, उन्होंने उस समय के तत्कालीन जो रक्षा राज्य मंत्री थे अरुण सिंह, चूंकि वो राज्यसभा के सदस्य थे और प्रिविलेज लोकसभा का था, उसके लिए भी उन्होंने क्वेश्चन रेज किया। मेरा ये कहना है कि जो विषय राहुल गांधी जी ने कहा है वो लंदन में जाके पार्लियामेंट के लिए कहा है। पार्लियामेंट में दोनों हाउस आते हैं और इसलिए अगर कोई भी व्यक्ति जानबूझ करके पार्लियामेंट की प्रोसीडिंग को रोकने का, पार्लियामेंट की प्रोसीडिंग को अपमानित करने का, पार्लियामेंट की प्रोसीडिंग में कोई विदेशी शक्ति के हस्तक्षेप करने की बात अगर वो कहता है तो निश्चित रूप से हमारे लीडर ने जो विषय उठाया, पीयूष जी ने एकदम सही उठाया है, वो अवमानना का विषय है और उनको देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
Of the parliament that have been adjourned for the day, the central government maintaining that Rahul Gandhi must apologize for the remarks that he made while he attended those events in London. In fact, slogans also being raised which said that Rahul Gandhi must apologize. Meanwhile, the opposition there continues with its ante, saying that there should be a JPC inquiry that must be initiated over the Adani matter. The Supreme Court today dismissed Centre's curative plea seeking an additional 7,844 crore from the Union Carbide Corporation successor firms to extend higher compensation to the victims of the 1984 Bhopal gas tragedy. YS Sharmila elucidated on the Kaleshwaram project scam and alleged that Chief Minister of Telangana is involved in the scam. She asserted that it's the biggest scam of India and it involves an amount of 70,000 crore and was no less than 2G scam or coal scam that took place in the past. YS Sharmila meanwhile was detained by the Delhi police after the YSR Telangana party leader staged protest over Kaleshwaram project. The YSRTP chief YS Sharmila was even detained by the police during a protest against the Telangana chief minister while she protested at the Jantar Mandir. Rajya Sabha hailed India's Oscar wins, where MPs were seen praising RRR and the Elephant Whisperers. Congress president meanwhile took a jibe at the centre, saying that the ruling party should not take the credit for the Oscars win. RS chairman and India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also congratulated the twin win at the Oscars and said that such achievements are reflective of global appreciation of the vast talent in the country, immense creativity and committed dedication of the Indian artists. Meanwhile, Cleric Raza Khan, national president of the Ittihad-e-Millat Council, claimed that if the rhetoric of those who desire Hindu Rashtra is acceptable, then so is the call for Khalistan or even a separate Muslim country.
वो हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करते वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, तेज दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए। वरना हमें अंदेशा इस बात का है कि कल ऐसा ना हो कि हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले कितनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे।
CT Ravi meanwhile hit out at BS Yediyurappa announcement of his son contesting from Shikharpura. CT Ravi said that the decision to give tickets will not be decided in the family and that it would be decided by the parliamentary board. BJP MLA, the main accused in the Karnataka bribe gate scam, Remember, the plea was initially mentioned before a bench headed by the CGI, who asked the Lokayukta Council to mention the matter before a bench headed by Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul. Meanwhile, after Rahul's anti-India rant, RSS has now hit out at Rahul Gandhi, saying that the latter should have been responsible while he made those remarks on foreign soil.
वो संघ के बारे में कहते तो मैं इतना ही कहूँगा, कांग्रेस के उनके पूर्वजों ने भी संघ के ऊपर बहुत सारे ऐसे किया। देश के लोग भी, दुनिया के लोग भी संघ को अपने अनुभव से देख रहे हैं, सीख रहे हैं। रियलिटी क्या है सबको मालूम है, शायद वो भी जानते होंगे, लेकिन मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूँ, एक प्रमुख राजनीतिक पक्ष के प्रमुख नेता के नाते he should express more responsibly and see the reality.
And the other big focus story that we've been tracking closely is a controversial remark that was made by Cleric Tokir Raza. Remember, this is not the first time that the Cleric has landed himself in a controversy with those remarks he made. This time he's called for a separate Muslim country. In fact, in the latest, he's also been booked by the Moradabad police. Remains to be seen the kind of action that is initiated next against the Cleric. But of course, till now, he remains scot-free. In the past also, he's made several such controversial remarks. This time he says that there should be a separate country for the Muslims. Listen.
वो हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करते वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, 23 दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए, वरना हमें अंदेशा इस बात का है कि कल ऐसा ना हो कि ये हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले कितनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे।
Alright, so there you heard the comments that were made by the Muslim cleric Tokir Raza Khan, who says that there should be a separate country for the Muslims, and this statement that has landed himself in quite a controversy. He has been booked by the Moradabad police, but of course not been arrested as of yet. Until now, the Muslim cleric has not retracted his remarks. Listen in to the reaction that's coming from the SP of the area.
तौफीक रजा नाम के व्यक्ति हैं, जिनके द्वारा नागफनी थाने में उनका एक वीडियो वायरल हो रहा है, मीडिया के माध्यम से उनको जानकारी प्राप्त हुई है, जिसमें उनके द्वारा कुछ आपत्तिजनक बयान दिए गए हैं, जिसमें कि सांप्रदायिक भावना भड़काना और अन्य इस तरह की जो धमकी देना और इस तरह के जो भड़काऊ जो बयान है दिए हैं। इसमें IPC की धारा 153A, 295A और 505(2) के तहत मुकदमा इसमें पंजीकृत किया गया है और इसमें आगे की विधिक कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
क्या सर और वीडियो को भी आधार बनाया जाएगा इसमें, जो पुरानी वीडियो?
इसमें कुछ मीडिया के माध्यम से कुछ वीडियो मिले हैं, बाकी इनके द्वारा जो स्टेटमेंट दिया है उसकी वीडियो जो हम लोगों को मिले हैं उनकी जांच करके इसमें आगे की इसमें कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
And not all is well within the BJP in poll-bound state Karnataka. We'll get you that story on the other side of this very short break. Big trouble for BJP ahead of polls. BJP MLA takes a swipe at Yediyurappa for announcing seat for his son. And swift and shocking collapse of two American banks prompts fears of a broader financial upheaval.
आपने बस ये बोलना चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो हमारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित।
उनसे एक बार मिल तो लो सर, मिल तो लो सर।
Complete ruckus. This is the right now on the screen. That's on your screen, babe. That's Chidambaram right now. He's arrested. On the screen. Mr. Chidambaram. That's Mr. Chidambaram. institutions. When the ED goes after you, these protests don't happen.
Obviously, you don't understand English. What can I?
I understand English, sir. That's why I'm asking Mr. Rahul Gandhi raised the issue of institutions. When ED goes after you, these protests don't.
Your English is wrong.
Complete ruckus. This is the right now on the screen.
A Pajaro River's levee breach, flash floods, evacuations, power loss, and storm-related deaths plagued California over the weekend. Torrential storms soaked California and set off flooding across the state. The heavy rainfall was caused by one of the many atmospheric river events to hit the state this winter. And yet again, another atmospheric river arrived Monday night, further enveloping the state's swamped farmland and agricultural communities. And as the water rose, more than 8,500 people were forced to evacuate, prompting rescue and relief operations. Agency report, Republic TV.
We slip in a very short break. Coming up on the other side, we'll get you the latest from coal-bound state Karnataka, where the infighting continues as BJP MLA takes a swipe at PSA. Swift and shocking collapse of two American banks that prompts fears of a global financial crisis.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Institutions. When the ED goes after you, these protests don't happen.
Obviously, you don't understand English. What can I?
I understand English, sir. That's why I'm asking Mr. Rahul Gandhi raised the issue of institutions. When ED goes after you, these protests don't.
Your English is wrong.
आपने बस ये बोलना चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो हमारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित।
उनसे एक बार मिल तो लो सर, मिल तो लो सर।
Complete ruckus.
past 2, tracking all the top stories very closely. Remember, both the houses of the parliament have been adjourned for the day after the sloganeering and ruckus after the central government maintained that Rahul Gandhi must apologize for his remarks while he attended those events in UK. We'll get you all those updates, starting first with the top headlines.
जिस प्रकार से विदेशी धरती में जाके भारत का अपमान किया गया, भारत के सब संस्थानों का अपमान किया गया और विशेषकर पार्लियामेंट का अपमान किया।
For the second consecutive day, Rahul's India insults rocks the parliament.
राहुल गांधी जी का कैम्ब्रिज क्राइस, लंदन लाइस, इससे साफ तौर पर दिखता है कि वो देश को अपमानित करने का कोई भी क्षण नहीं छोड़ रहे।
INB Minister slams Rahul Gandhi, says Congress must stop Cambridge cries and London lies. Out to defend Rahul Gandhi, rules out apology for his comment on democracy.
और हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात करते वक्त वालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, देशद्रोह का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए कि कल ऐसा ना हो कि हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले इतनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे।
FIR against Congress backed Cleric for his provocative and polarizing Muslim Rashtra comment. Big trouble for BJP ahead of elections. BJP MLA takes a swipe at Yediyurappa for announcing a seat for his son. Swift and shocking collapse of 2 American banks prompts fears of a global financial crisis. All right, we start with the news break that's just coming in on the incident which happened in the flight that was London to Delhi-bound flight. The unruly passenger has now refused to pay for the bail amount. Remember, he was found smoking inside the lavatory. He's been booked for misbehavior. He's now been sent to jail by the court. So this was a US citizen who landed himself in trouble as he was found smoking inside the lavatory on an Air India flight. He was of course booked by the Mumbai police. Latest coming in that he's sent to jail by the court. And just to take our viewers through the details of this particular incident where the man was booked for unruly behavior and was found smoking on an Air India flight, has now been sent to jail by a court after he refused to pay a 25,000 for bail and instead cited online search to claim that the fine payable under the IPC section was only 250 rupees. So while this passenger was found smoking in the flight and was asked to, following which he was asked to pay a fine of 25,000 rupees, he's refused to pay, so saying that under the IPC section only 250 rupees is payable. Let's go across to our senior editor Shravan Sen joining us. Shravan, if you can take us through the details of this incident, what exactly happened, and what's shocking in this case is this passenger who's refused to pay that fine amount of 25,000 rupees.
He refused to pay the bail amount. In fact, the bail amount stands at 25,000 rupees, and he basically instead cited online search to claim the fine payable that is under the IPC section was just about 250. So the argument was essentially about the bail amount, that whether it should be 250 or 25,000. Now the court has essentially granted the accused a cash bail, but he has now refused to pay the amount and has told the court that he was ready to go back to jail. Now, as far as the Mumbai police is concerned, remember in the investigation that was carried out by them, in fact the charge sheet has already been filed, in which they say that he has caused disturbance on the aircraft, endangered the lives of all passengers, and also disobeyed the pilot's oral and written instructions to keep calm. And that is the reason why the moment as the aircraft landed, he was then arrested by the Mumbai police.
Thank Thank you for taking us through those details, Shravan. So that's of course the latest coming in saying that he's ready to go to jail but will not pay the fine of 25,000 rupees that was imposed on him. Remember this particular incident which happened on an Air India flight where this passenger, a US citizen, a 37-year-old US citizen, was found smoking inside the flight, following which he was booked by the Mumbai police. While we're given to understand that he's finally been sent to jail as he refused to pay that fine of 25,000 rupees, saying that under the sections of the IPC, he's only allowed to, in fact, he should be paying only 250 rupees a month. All right, to the other focus story we've been tracking closely. This is the controversy involving Rahul Gandhi's statements that he made during the speeches and the lectures he delivered, not just at the Cambridge University in London, but several such events which happened in UK. A remark that has drawn backlash from across the spectrum, be it from the ruling dispensation in the country, the central government demanding nothing but an apology from Rahul Gandhi on the floor of the House, whereas the latter, the party continues to back Rahul Gandhi, saying that no such, the statements that Rahul Gandhi made was not wrong at all. Remember, in fact, just this morning, we got the statement of the close aide of Rahul Gandhi, Sam Pitroda, who also came out to back Rahul Gandhi, saying that this is an attempt to divert from the real issues. In fact, let's listen in to an exclusive response that's coming from Union Minister Anurag Thakur.
जनरली मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी भारत को माना जाता है। ये बात अलग है कि लोकतंत्र का अपमान करना, आर्टिकल 356 का दुरुपयोग करना कांग्रेस पार्टी ने किया है। और राहुल गांधी जी को याद करवाना चाहता हूँ, इमरजेंसी देश में लगाई तो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने लगाई। पत्रकारों को जेल में डालना, नेताओं को जेल में डालने का काम कांग्रेस ने किया। अल्पसंख्यकों की हत्या और बलात्कार करने का काम सिखों के साथ किसी ने किया तो कांग्रेस के नेताओं ने किया, और उनको संरक्षण देने का काम सोनिया जी और राहुल जी ने किया। अगर कश्मीर में पथरावबाजी से लेकर तिरंगे झंडे को जलाने अपमानित करने का काम हो तो कांग्रेस के समय हुआ। मोदी जी की सरकार के समय वहाँ पीस और प्रॉस्पेरिटी आई है, वहाँ पे शांति, और वहाँ पे लोगों का आना जाना ज़्यादा बढ़ा है। इसलिए तो राहुल गांधी, प्रियंका गांधी जाके बर्फ के गोलों से खेल रहे थे। यही नहीं, सदन को अपमानित कर, बदनाम कर, विदेशी धरती से, और सदन जब चल रहा तब यहाँ से गायब रहना। जो औसतन हाजिरी सांसदों की देश में है उससे बहुत कम राहुल गांधी जी की। क्या है विदेश में उनका? सदन जरूरी है कि विदेश में यात्रा जरूरी है? देश को और सदन को और सैनिकों को अपमानित किया, सबसे आके माफी मांगी।
वो ये कहते हैं कि पार्लियामेंट में तो माइक बंद कर दिया जाता है और हमको बोलने नहीं दिया जाता, और आज वो खुद यहाँ पर मौजूद नहीं है। क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी चाहती है? राहुल गांधी क्या चाहते हैं, क्या लगता है?
देखिए, उनकी यहाँ से गैर हाजिरी बचना ये साफ में दिखाता है कि आना पड़ेगा तो माफी मांगेंगे। यहाँ चेहरा दिखाने के लिए नहीं, और वहाँ पे भारत को बदनाम करने में कोई कसर छोड़ते नहीं। मैं उनसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, विपक्ष के सभी नेताओं को सभी विषयों पर बोलने की अनुमति दी जाती है, दुनिया भर के देशों में जाके बदनाम क्यों करते हैं? मैं आपको एक घटना याद करवाना चाहता हूँ। यूपीए की सरकार थी, मनमोहन सिंह जी प्रधानमंत्री थे। ऑर्डिनेंस को फाड़ने का काम प्रेस क्लब में और नॉनसेंस कहने का काम राहुल गांधी जी ने किया था। मनमोहन सिंह जी न जाने कैसे सहन कर लिया। राजीव गांधी जी ने भी बंच ऑफ जोकर्स प्लानिंग कमीशन को कहा था, मनमोहन सिंह जी उसके सदस्य थे। ना जाने अपमान मनमोहन सिंह जी ने राजीव गांधी जी और राहुल गांधी जी से कैसे सह लिया। वो सह सकते हैं लेकिन देश नहीं सहना चाहता, सदन नहीं सहना चाहता, सांसद चाहते हैं कि वो आके माफी मांगे।
सैम पिट्रोडा उनके साथ में थे, वो ये कह रहे हैं राहुल गांधी ने कुछ गलत नहीं बोला और कांग्रेस पार्टी कहती है हम तो बिल्कुल माफी नहीं मांगेंगे। सैम पिट्रोडा के बयान का आप क्या कहें?
सदन का बदनाम करना, देश को बदनाम करना, सैनिकों को अपमानित करना, मनोबल गिराना, अगर ये देश का अपमान नहीं तो क्या आप सम्मान वो ऐसे कर रहे हैं कि पद्म भूषण को बेचने का काम कर रहे हैं? पेंटिंग के बदले पद्म भूषण, पैसों के बदले पद्म भूषण। एक कांग्रेस पार्टी है जो पैसों के बदले पद्म भूषण दे रही, दूसरी आम आदमी पार्टी है जो भ्रष्टाचार करने वालों को पद्म भूषण और भारत रत्न देने की बात कर रही। ये भ्रष्टाचार करने वालों को देश सहन करने वाला नहीं है, और झूठ फैलाने वालों को तो विदेशी धरती पर जो सदन का अपमान किया है, सांसदों की मांगे आके माफी मांगे।
Heard Anurag Thakur saying that Rahul Gandhi has been trying to tarnish the image of the country abroad. So of course, across the spectrum, reactions coming in, the centre reiterating its stand that Rahul Gandhi must apologise on the floor of the House. In fact, earlier today, Piyush Goyal, while speaking to the media, also said, and inside the Parliament as well, reiterated that Congress MP Rahul Gandhi should apologise inside the Parliament for the remarks he made in London.
बहुत महत्वपूर्ण विषय उठाया था जो देश की अस्मिता के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है और खास तौर पे पार्लियामेंट के हम सभी के स्वाभिमान के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है। जिस प्रकार से विदेशी धरती में जाके भारत का अपमान किया गया, भारत के सब संस्थानों का अपमान किया गया और विशेषकर पार्लियामेंट का अपमान किया। सर, पार्लियामेंट यानी लोकसभा और राज्यसभा दोनों संयुक्त सदन मिलके पार्लियामेंट है और पार्लियामेंट के हिस्से में देश की पार्लियामेंट का हिस्सा देश की महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी भी रहते हैं और मैं समझता हूँ कि ये शायद पहली बार हुआ हो कि पार्लियामेंट को मिलके पूरे पार्लियामेंट और उसमें दोनों सदन भी है, माननीय महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी भी हैं, उन सबके ऊपर जिस प्रकार के आरोप लगाए, जिस प्रकार के निराधार शब्द इस्तेमाल किए गए, बहुत अपमानजनक शब्द इस्तेमाल किए गए, आपने भी माननीय अध्यक्ष जी इस बात की निंदा की।
Gandhi there facing massive criticism for the remarks he made while in UK. In fact, the RSS has also stepped in the whole controversy, saying that Rahul Gandhi should have been responsible in the statements that he gave in that UK speech.
पहले विषय के बारे में कहता हूँ, मुझे लगता है इसके बारे में कमेंट करने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। वो अपने पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा से चलते हैं, हमारा और उनका कंपटीशन पॉलिटिकल फील्ड के हमारा नहीं है। वो संघ के बारे में कहते तो मैं इतना ही कहूँगा, कांग्रेस के उनके पूर्वजों ने भी संघ के ऊपर बहुत सारे ऐसे किया। देश के लोग भी, दुनिया के लोग भी संघ को अपने अनुभव से देख रहे, सीख रहे हैं। रियलिटी क्या है सबको मालूम है, शायद वो भी जानते होंगे, लेकिन मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूं, एक प्रमुख राजनीतिक पक्ष के प्रमुख नेता के नाते he should express more responsibly and see the reality.
Alright, so there you heard the RSS General Secretary saying that Rahul Gandhi, being a prominent leader, should have been responsible in his remarks. In fact, the Congress, on the other hand, continues to back Rahul Gandhi for his remarks he made in that London speech. Rahul Gandhi there in his London speeches where he said democracy is under attack in the country. Listening to the reactions that have been coming in from the Congress leaders.
सदन चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा, अब ये सवाल विपक्ष से नहीं पूछा जाना चाहिए। कल का दृश्य सबके सामने है। कल चेयरमैन की लाख कोशिशों के बावजूद सत्ता पक्ष के सारे सदस्य खड़े होकर व्यवधान बनाते रहे, करते रहे। नतीजे के तौर पर कल का दिन एक काले दिन के रूप में अंकित हो गया लोकतंत्र के इतिहास में, जब सत्ता पक्ष ने नहीं चलने दी। आज भी हमने तो नोटिस दी है अडानी पे जांच के लिए, जेपीसी के लिए। अब सत्ता पक्ष को ये देखना है कि अपने मालिक अडानी को बचाने के लिए भाजपा कब तक सदन को नहीं चलने देगी। हम तो लोकतांत्रिक ढंग से इस मांग को उठाते रहेंगे। भारत जोड़ो यात्रा से व्यथित, व्याकुल, डरे हुए हैं लोग, और इसीलिए राहुल गांधी से जो कुछ उन्होंने विदेश में कहा उसे पूरा न रखे। उन्होंने तो भारत जोड़ो यात्रा के अनुभव साझा किए तो भारत की लोकतंत्र की तारीफ की थी।
क्यों माफी मांगेंगे राहुल जी? क्या क्या गुना की माफी मांगना है? माफी तीन लोगों को मांगना चाहिए।
और प्रियंका गांधी का नाम भी सर आ रहा है,
तो ये करेगा साजिश, तो बढ़ते चलेंगे साजिश, कोई परवाह नहीं हमें, जो मर्जी कर ले।
Alright, so there you heard the Congress that continues to back Rahul Gandhi for his remarks he made in UK. We slip into a very short break for now, but on the other side, we'll get you more stories. Another story we're closely tracking is a controversial remark that was made by the cleric Toki Raza Khan, who says that there should be a separate country for the Muslims. Meanwhile, swift and shocking collapse of two American banks prompts fears of a global financial crisis.
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVR scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders? Are you ashamed of the fact that to Republic? Institutions, when the ED goes after you, these protests don't happen.
Obviously, you don't understand English. What can I?
I understand English, sir. That's why I'm asking. Mr. Rahul Gandhi raised the issue of institutions. When ED goes after you, these protests don't.
Your English is wrong.
Welcome back. You're with us on Republic. We are also putting our focus on the state of the economy. But this, remember, is not just about India. India has a resilient economy, but what about the US? The same US that lectures, the same US that has a lot of high standards, supposedly. The Silicon Valley Bank, which is one of the larger banks there, particularly for the tech sector, customers there have been scrambling to get their money out of the local branches. This, despite assurances that have come in from the president that their money is safe. But why is it that people do not believe that assurance, and what really does this say for the US economy and their safeguards? This report tells you more.
America is facing the biggest banking crisis. Two US-based banks have collapsed in a matter of just about 48 hours. After Silicon Valley, Signature Capital shut shop. Silicon Valley Bank customers waited in line to withdraw their money. This comes after the federal government stepped in to guarantee deposits following the bank collapse.
We were panicking. I think a lot of us were panicking, and we're trying to get through in terms of how we open up different bank account quickly, and more so in terms of how we can, whether we'll get our cash back or, whatever money we are left with on the bank side.
Depositors withdrew savings and investors broadly sold off bank shares. President Joe Biden insisted that the system was safe after the second and third largest bank failures in the nation's history happened in the span of 48 hours. In response to the crisis, regulators guaranteed all deposits at the two banks. They created a program that effectively threw a lifeline to the other banks to shield them from a run on deposits.
It was quite nerve-wracking because all our money is primarily banked here, and being one of the largest banks in Silicon Valley, 15th largest in the US overall, I think nobody had thought that this would happen, and that in the manner in which it happened is.
New York bank regulators took possession of Signature Bank, ousting its leaders and handing day-to-day control over to the Federal Deposit Insurance Corp. Agency report, Republic TV.
And clearly, remember, the world is worried today. The world is worried and waiting to watch how would this issue really pan out. There have been swift and shocking collapses of 2 American banks in just the last few days, clearly prompting fears of a broader upheaval across the globe. And this is how top global leaders are reacting to the American banking meltdown.
Calm down and just have a look at the reality. The reality is that the banks that you just mentioned, and I would say the French banking system, is not exposed to the Silicon Valley Bank. Is not exposed to the Silicon Valley Bank. So there is no links between the different situations. There is no specific concern for the French banks. Of course, we are looking very closely at the situation, but when you are looking at the economic model and the financial model of the BNP, Société Générale and other French banks, it is radically different from the model of the Silicon Valley Bank.
Well, we don't see a specific risk of contagion. Of course, we are monitoring the situation in close contact with the ECB. We appreciate, we take note of the initiative taken by the US authorities to avoid in US a contagion. And also we stress the fact that European banks, all European banks, not only the bigger, are applying the prudential Basel standard. So directly there is no contagion. The possibility of indirect impact is something that we have to monitor, but at the moment we don't see it as a significant risk.
In some countries like Italy, you had even limit down at one point. What's your message perhaps to investors? Let's take a breather, cool down and look at the fundamentals?
Well, I think that an impact in remuneration of banks was to be estimated, it was predictable. But this is one thing. Assessing the fact that there is a real risk of contagion is a different thing. I don't think we have a real risk of contagion at the moment in Europe.
Well, we of course evaluate the situation. We monitor the situation hour by hour. For now, we have no indications that there is any risk that there is an impact on our Belgian banks. But of course, as I said, we monitor it very closely. We also have, of course, a very clear European and Belgium regulatory framework in which we know what the situation is there, and that also, of course, helps us to keep trust in the banking system.
The US authorities have acted decisively in underpinning the deposits of the customers. I think that was a very important move which will provide confidence. Notwithstanding that, I have asked the Financial Stability Group in Ireland to do an assessment of any impact that there may be. There are certainly many business customers in Ireland of Silicon Valley Bank, and so the Department of Finance, the NTMA and the Central Bank are meeting today to carry out an assessment of any impact that there may be.
Obviously, there is increased volatility in financial markets worldwide, and that is affecting all banks throughout the world, and in particular European banks. But I think that the European banking sector, and in particular the Spanish sector, is actually right now with a reinforced regulatory and supervisory framework. They have well capitalized and solid balance sheets, and therefore I can only share a message of confidence with regards to the Spanish banking sector, and also a positive outlook with regards to the Spanish economy.
We are very alert. This is a one-in-a-lifetime event that is happening, and we are very alert to the needs and the challenges of the companies as we go. We know today to say that probably the next challenge will be access of those companies to funding sources. Right now, their ability to withdraw from credit lines that they already have is currently frozen, and we are ready to support with all the credit tools that we have in Leumi Tech for tech companies and for VC funds to support them with their financing needs as they get along.
So economy, remember, is just not the only headache for the US right now. You do know the issue of migrants, and a large number of these migrants in Mexico are actually prevented from crossing into the US via a bridge leading to Texas. Barricades were also used to stop these migrants from crossing the border. There has been widespread criticism of the kind of approach the US and Mexico in particular have dealt with. This report gets you a full lowdown.
Erupted as hundreds of migrants cramped up at an international brigade hoping to get through the US border. The migrants ran swiftly on border brigade towards US side as Mexico National Guard soldiers looked on. A large number of migrants in Mexico who were posing a potential threat to make a mass entry into the United States were prevented from crossing a brigade leading to Texas. Physical barriers were put up to restrict entry at the International Brigade to restrict the entry of the migrants. Migrants were seen chanting, "We want to cross," slogans, yelling and arguing with the US border officers behind the barbed wire. The helpless migrants were seen running back towards Mexico to try to cross the US border through the river. While it wasn't immediately known that what caused the attempted mass crossing, the migrant crisis continues to be a concern for the US administration. Agency report, Republic TV.
It's time for us to head into a quick break. When we come back, the INB minister is slamming Rahul Gandhi. He says the Congress must stop the Cambridge lies, also what he calls now the London lies. Also, there is an FIR against a Congress-backed cleric for his provocative and polarizing Muslim Rashtra comment. The full story after this very quick break.
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVRP scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders? Are you ashamed of the fact that to Republic?
आपने बस ये बोला चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो तो हमारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित।
उनसे एक बार मिल तो लो सर, मिल तो लो सर।
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVRP scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders? Are you ashamed of the fact that to Republic?
Showing you visuals straight from Jantar Mantar as YSRTP is protesting against KCR in the national capital. This is the place where YS Sharmila started her protest. She clearly stated that she wants to get the attention of all the parliamentarians and the nation towards the biggest scam which is done by the KCR government in the Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project. As YS Sharmila is detained by the Delhi police officials, she is being taken to the nearest police station.
good afternoon. You're watching Superfast 50 at 3 p.m. I'm Soesha Sound. We get you all the top 50 stories, beginning with the first one. It is a massive face-off over Rahul Gandhi's speech. Union Minister Anurag Thakur launched a scathing attack on Rahul Gandhi and questioned as to why he doesn't attend Parliament. He also said that Rahul Gandhi has not left a single opportunity to malign India's image on an international platform.
और देश से बाहर जाकर आप देश को बदनाम करने का काम करते हो, भारत को दुनिया भर में बदनाम करने का काम करते हो। राहुल जी, आपको तुरंत वापस आकर सदन में, जहां देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, सांसदों से, संसद से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, वहीं पर देश की सीमा पर सैनिकों से माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
Sam Petroda backs Rahul Gandhi as the centre seeks an apology from Rahul. In a series of tweets, he urged people to stop promoting and propagating lies about what the Congress leader said in London. Following BJP's demand of Rahul Gandhi's apology, Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary hit back at Anurag Thakur's statement and said that instead of Rahul Gandhi, BJP should be the one to apologize, as they were the ones who had stalled Parliament by creating a chaos.
क्यों माफी मांगेंगे राहुल जी? क्या क्या गुना की माफी मांगना है? माफी तीन लोगों को मांगना चाहिए।
और प्रियंका गांधी का नाम भी सर आ रहा है,
तो ये करेगा साजिश, तो बढ़ते चलेंगे साजिश, कोई परवाह नहीं हमें, जो मर्जी कर लें।
PM Modi held a meeting with his top ministers including Prahlad Joshi, Piyush Goyal, Narendra Singh Tomar, Kiran Rijiju, Anurag Thakur and Nitin Gadkari in Parliament. Over the demand of a JPC that should be formed to investigate the matter, opposition parties held a meet on Adani controversy in the chamber of Congress President and Leader of Opposition in Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, over the demand of a JPC that should be formed to investigate the matter. Aam Aadmi Party Rajya Sabha MP Sanjay Singh and MP Pramod Tiwari of Congress gave suspension of business notice under Rule 267, demanding an investigation into the Adani Hindenburg case and a discussion in the House on this issue. YS Sharmila elucidated on the Kaleshwaram project scam and alleged that the Chief Minister of Telangana, KCR, is involved in that scam. She asserted that it is the biggest scam of India as it involves an amount of over 70,000 crore rupees and it was no less than 2G scam or coal scam that took place in the past. Following massive protests on the streets of Jantar Mantar, YSR Telangana Party Chief YS Sharmila was detained by the Delhi police during a vociferous protest against Chief Minister KCR's government. Former Sub-Divisional Officer Jairam Deshpande, who was suspended in the Sai Resort case at Murud, has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate team in Mumbai. Meanwhile, Anil Parab has filed a plea in the court to quash the Sai Resort case, which is being investigated by the ED. ED has summoned IAS Rajiv Arun Eka to join the probe on 15th March in connection with a purported video in which he was seen signing some documents while allegedly sitting at one Vishal Chaudhary's residence, who is under the scanner in the Pooja Singhal case. Supreme Court agreed to hear the plea of Karnataka Lokayukt against the grant of anticipatory bail by the High Court to BJP MLA Madal Virupakshaka, the main accused in the Karnataka soaps and detergent contract scam. Supreme Court dismisses the centre's curative plea seeking an additional 7,844 crore rupees from Union Carbide Corporation successor firms to extend higher compensation to the victims of the 1984 Bhopal gas tragedy that killed over 3,000 people and caused environmental damage. The current Chief Secretary has filed a report recommending action against 9 officials, including the then DGP and Chief Secretary. Now, apart from former Chief Secretary and DGP, the Punjab Chief Secretary, who has also recommended action against 9 officials indicted by Supreme Court committee. The accused, identified as Sukhmander Singh, along with his accomplices, jacked a car after attacking a driver in Amritsar. The incident was reported on the 4th of March when the victim's car I-20 was snatched on gunpoint by Amritpal's aides. The police is further investigating the matter and hunting for the absconders. Pro-Khalistan elements damaged the railway tracks in Bhatinda today and also pasted posters in support of the formation of Khalistan. They also threatened disruption during G20 meeting in Amritsar, slated to be held from the 15th to the 17th of March. Maulana Tauqir Raza Khan, National President of Ittihad-e-Millat Council, who has claimed that if the rhetoric of those who desire Hindu Rashtra is acceptable, then so is the call for Khalistan or a separate Muslim country. Following this, a case has been registered in Moradabad in the matter for making inflammatory statements. In the latest development in the Delhi excise policy case, Delhi High Court has agreed to hear the bail plea of Abhishek Boinpalli. The Delhi High Court will hear the matter on the 20th of April. Karnataka Congress staged a protest at Sheshgiri Halli Toll Plaza in Ramnagar district over toll levied on motorists using the Mysuru-Bengaluru Expressway. According to sources, some Congress workers have also been detained by the police at Sheshgiri Halli Toll Plaza in Ramnagar district during the protest. As the face-off between governor and state government continues, now Students' Union has called for a Chalo Raj Bhavan march against the governor. This is not over clearing the University Common Recruitment Bill. Ahead of the Karnataka election, C.T. Ravi has hit out at B.S. Yediyurappa over his announcement that a ticket must be given to his son and that he will contest from Shikarpura. C.T. Ravi said that the decision of giving a ticket will not be decided within the family. It is to be decided by the Parliamentary Board. Rajya Sabha hailed India's Oscar wins, where MPs were seen praising RRR and the Elephant Whisperers. Congress President took a jibe at the centre and said that the ruling party should not take credit for it.
I also join to congratulate both the awardees. Such an award is given to this Natu Natu and also to the elephants, these things. Ruling party should not take credit that we have directed, we have written the poem, Modi ji has directed this film. They should not say.
Rajya Sabha Chairman and India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also congratulated the twin win at Oscars and said such achievements reflect a global appreciation of the vast talent, immense creativity and committed dedication of Indian artists.
The wins for the Elephant Whisperers and RRR, Triple R, mark a new recognition of full spectrum of cinema that India produces. This will further internationalization of India's film industry will be effected. These achievements also reflect global appreciation of vast talent, immense creativity and committed dedication of Indian artists.
The Aam Aadmi Party hopes to make a mark in the politics of Madhya Pradesh that so far has been centered around the Bharatiya Janata Party, which has been in power for a dominant part of the last 2 decades. Former MP Aam Aadmi Party Chief Pankaj Singh, who said that they are working hard to ensure 1 lakh people attend the rally in BHEL Dashera Maidan in Bhopal today. Following the deaths of 2 minor children aged 7 and 5 who were mauled to death allegedly by stray dogs in a forest area in Delhi's Vasant Kunj, NCPCR has taken suo motu cognizance of the incident and issued summons to MCD to appear before the Commission on the 17th of March 2023 on Friday, along with an action taken report on the matter. Jammu and Kashmir LG Manoj Sinha said that jobs will be given on the basis of merit and not on recommendation, and government will ensure fair and transparent recruitment. He added that attempts were being made to derail the recruitment process in Jammu and Kashmir by some people who had hijacked the entire system while in power. National Investigation Agency conducted raids as we speak at multiple locations in Jammu and Kashmir in a case related to terror activities of chiefs and members of proscribed terrorist organizations. MHA's crackdown on narcotics in Jammu and Kashmir, where heroin of more than 150 kgs and other drugs of more than 170 kgs will be destroyed. Cops say that narcotics, majorly heroin, was pushed from across the border within India. The body of an unidentified woman was found inside a plastic drum lying at SMBT railway station last night. CCTV footage of 3 people carrying the drum and leaving it at the railway station is being examined by police. A 5-year-old boy died after he fell into a 15 feet deep borewell in Maharashtra's Ahmednagar district. The minor boy could not be saved even as rescue operations continued till late night. An ambulance and other medical aid were kept ready at the spot. In a big development in a Veshpal murder case, sources say that a team of UP STF have reached Gujarat in search of shooters. Now, according to sources, Atik's henchmen used to stay in a hotel in Gujarat. President Joe Biden and the leaders of Australia and United Kingdom announced that Australia will purchase nuclear-powered attack submarines from the US to modernize its fleet amid growing concerns about China's influence in the Indo-Pacific.
Obama-Biden administration, we put in place tough requirements on banks like Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, including the Dodd-Frank law to make sure that the crisis we saw in 2008 would not happen again. Unfortunately, the last administration rolled back some of these requirements. I'm going to ask Congress and the banking regulators to strengthen the rules for banks to make it less likely this kind of bank failure would happen again, and to protect American jobs and small businesses.
UK opposition party said that government's most recent migration bill is a trafficker's charter and will only put the most vulnerable at risk. Asian shares declined as investors around the world watched to see what's the next step following the second and third largest bank failures in US history. Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 dropped nearly 2%, extending losses from the day before. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida will hold their first ever summit in Tokyo to try and find common purpose in the face of new challenges from China and North Korea. Silicon Valley Bank customers waited in line to withdraw their money after the federal government stepped in to guarantee deposits following the bank's collapse. Depositors withdrew savings and investors broadly sold off bank shares as the federal government raced to reassure Americans that the banking system was secure after 2 bank failures fed fears that more financial institutions could follow. In a bid to take stock of the situation of floods in Peru, President Dina Boluarte traveled by helicopter over the areas near the Chilean River in Lima. Cyclone Yaku resulted in severe floods in several areas in Lima. 5 people have been killed so far in multiple incidents related to the floodings across Peru. Former Prime Minister Imran Khan rallied thousands of supporters in eastern Pakistan. Protests took place after the court in the capital of Islamabad issued 2 more arrest warrants against him for failing to appear before judges in graft and terrorism cases. The Colombian Navy found a low-profile vessel commonly described as makeshift submarines loaded with more than 2 tons of cocaine. Navy sailors came across the ship while patrolling the Pacific Columbian with 2 men on board who were harmed by a leak of the toxic fumes of submarine motor. An unrelenting cyclone Freddy that is currently battering southern Africa has killed at least 68 people in Malawi and Mozambique since it struck the continent for a second time. It is said to be the longest ever recorded tropical cyclone. Danish Prime Minister Frederiksen met with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi during a visit to Cairo. The duo held talks in the Egyptian capital where they discussed various issues including concerns around illegal immigration and how to confront it. Real Madrid forward Eden Hazard revealed that he had made up his mind to retire from international football after the European Championship. Hazard hung his boots following Belgium's shocking group stage exit in the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Hazard's decision to retire shocked the entire footballing fraternity. Fourth seed Ons Jabeur crashed out of former French Open finalist Marketa in straight sets at the Indian Wells WTA tournament. The Czech player won the tie-break at 7-5 and then took a huge 5-1 lead in the second set. Jabeur made a minor recovery but fell short as the opponent prevailed 6-4 to record her own second win over the Tunisian this year. 11th seed Jannik Sinner overcame a tricky opponent Adrian Manarino in straight sets to set up a clash against the in-form Stanislas at the Indian Wells ATP Masters tournament. The Italian then broke Manarino at 4-4 in the second set and then served out for the victory with an emphatic overhead smash. For the first time ever, a match between Elena Rybakina and Paula Badosa did not go to 3 sets or feature a tie-break, but the matchup at Indian Wells was still hard-fought, with the reigning Wimbledon champion eventually coming through against the Spaniard. The reward for Rybakina was a place in the round of 16. India made it to the second successive WTC final courtesy New Zealand's thrilling 2-wicket win over Sri Lanka in Christchurch just before the post-lunch session on the final day of the 4th Indian-Australia Test, which ended in a draw in Ahmedabad as the hosts clinched the Border Gavaskar series. Head coach Rahul Gandhi on Monday made it clear that playing the World Test Championship final against Australia soon after the conclusion of IPL is going to be a big challenge for the Indian team. WTC final will be played at the Oval in London from June 7th to 11th, while the IPL ends on May 28th. Shreyas Iyer's recurring lower back injury isn't looking good at the moment. This was said by Indian captain Rohit Sharma, who couldn't set a time frame on the stylish right-hander's comeback to competitive cricket. Besides the upcoming 3-match ODI series against Australia, Iyer could also miss the IPL for Kolkata Knight Riders. Indian men's hockey team continued their winning ways in the ongoing FIH Hockey Pro League with a scintillating win against reigning world champions Germany here at the world's largest seated Birsa Munda Hockey Stadium on Monday. All-rounder Shadab Khan will be leading Pakistan in their 3-match T20I series against Afghanistan starting from March 24th onwards, with senior players like regular skipper Babar Azam, Fakhar Zaman, Mohammad Rizwan and key pacers like Shaheen Shah Afridi and Haris Rauf being rested. South African spinner Tabraiz Shamsi has replaced an injured Keshav Maharaj for the upcoming ODI series against West Indies. Starting from March 16th onwards, the latter has injured himself while celebrating Kyle Mayer's wicket during the West Indies' second innings in the second test.
This is the right now on your screen. That's on your screen, babe. That's Vichidapura right now. Authority of his arrested on the screen. On the screen. Mr. Chidapura. That's Mr. Chidapura. We have
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVRP scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders? Are you ashamed of the fact that to Republic?
आपने बस ये बोलना चाहता था सर कि विधांगनाएं रो रही है, थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोच लीजिए सर।
बिल्कुल सोचना चाहिए, वो तो हमारे लिए सबसे ज्यादा सम्मानित।
उनसे एक बार मिल तो लो सर, मिल तो लो सर।
And breaking news coming in, Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court is hearing the Maharashtra politics case involving Uddhav Thackeray and Eknath Shinde and their factions respectively of the Shiv Sena. Senior advocate Harish Salve for the Shinde faction has said Supreme Court cannot entertain a petition challenging every action taken in the legislature. There is no basis for hearing the petitions filed by Uddhav Thackeray. Salve has also gone on to say that everything cannot be scrambled like this just by approaching the Supreme Court. This court cannot direct a CM who has resigned to come back whenever there is a question. The governor must call for a vote of confidence. There is nothing wrong with that. So these are sharp submissions by Harish Salve, where he's going on to argue for the Shinde faction in the top court. And Salve, in the strongest of words, has said that everything cannot be scrambled like just by approaching the Supreme Court. This court cannot issue a direct direction to the CM who has resigned to come back whenever there is a question. Governor must call for a vote of confidence. There is nothing wrong. He's also said that let democracy play out on the floor of the House. That is the position laid down in SR Bomai, where the governor did nothing wrong by calling the floor test. As far as Nawam Rabia, it might need to be relooked. So primarily in this case, as Harish Salve is arguing on behalf of the Shinde faction in the top court, he's saying there is no basis for hearing the petitions filed by Uddhav Thackeray. It is clear from the Bomai judgment that majority can be decided not in Raj Bhavan but only in Vidhan Sabha, so that Raj Bhavan stays away from politics. Rhythm Anand Bhardwaj is with us on the phone line. Rhythm, detail for us what's happening in the top court over the Maharashtra political crisis and the strong submissions made by Harish Salve on behalf of the Shinde faction.
Absolutely. Senior advocate Mr. Harish Salve, speaking to the Shinde faction today, started off, he said that everything cannot be scrambled by approaching the Supreme Court. In the last marathon hearing in the Maharashtra political crisis case, also similar point had been made by Mr. Salve. He said the court cannot direct today the Chief Minister who resigned to return. The governor must call for a vote of confidence. And now the things have happened. The democracy needs to be playing on the floor of the House. The position is already laid down. The court is being invited to now embark on a political ambitious journey. What he's trying to really say is that the Supreme Court cannot be deciding everything. In fact, he says let democracy play out. He means that this was already something that the Bomai judgment had said. The governor did nothing wrong by calling for the floor test. He also says today, when the government is already chosen, this court is now being invited to embark on an entirely political journey, which is to speculate what could have happened. That is not the job of the Supreme Court. What could have happened if a trust vote had actually happened? This court had never concluded that tendency of challenge to anything has to now be decided here. Very sharp arguments being made by Mr. Salve, who is saying the Supreme Court cannot entertain a petition challenging every action that is taken. There is no basis for hearing this petition filed by Uddhav Thackeray. After Mr. Salve, there are other senior advocates going to be speaking, but these very sharp arguments being made by the senior counsel to ensure and say that this petition by Uddhav Thackeray should not be heard in the Supreme Court, it should be dismissed.
Rhythm, continue telling us more, because the Uddhav faction is obviously trying to push this fight for as far as they can. And really at this point, as far as the legal options are concerned, they're knocking the door of the Supreme Court time and again after the several setbacks that they have received. But how much is it really in their favor, given the course of what has happened and these very strong arguments that are being made by Harish Salve for the Shinde faction?
Well, Mr. Salve is very clearly trying to state just one thing, and that is very, very clear, that in such a case, where this is a case involving the Uddhav Thackeray and the Eknath Shinde factions of Shiv Sena, it cannot be said in black and white in which situations the Speaker should or should not act. We went to court saying Speaker did not give time to file the reply. Then Mr. Salve says defection is only when sizable numbers defect, which he just did ask what is a sizable number. Then Mr. Salve said this is not for the courts to see. So you are inviting split from the back door then, and Mr. Salve said this is irrelevant. What I'm trying to say here is that the Supreme Court is very clearly being told once the government is being chosen, suddenly out of the blue, it cannot be said to have been wrongly done if at that time there was no protest. Mr. Salve also says that today the Supreme Court is being invited to embark upon a journey which is entirely political in nature. He also says this is a fiction which you are being called to speculate and judge. What could have happened if a trust vote had taken place? So this is something that is not something that's happened, but this is something speculation. So he then says, if I am correct, then nothing lies in the first question. There's nothing wrong with Eknath Shinde having been sworn in. We of course saw senior counsel NK Kaul and others also speaking, and now we're going to see constitutionally what the bench will decide.
All right, Rhythm, we'll keep a close eye on that. For the moment, thank you for joining us. We move on to other breaking news. And in the very latest, Islamabad police team has arrived at former Pakistan President Imran Khan's residence in Zaman Park in armoured vehicles to arrest him. A considerable number of Khan's party workers who are present across Zaman Park, that is the residence of Imran Khan. Remember, they have been trying to evade arrest and several attempts that have been made on that front, especially from PTI supporters and those who are loyalists of Imran Khan, where he is trying to garner more and more support and trying to build up pressure in order to evade his arrest. Now, this is the very latest that has come in, as the Islamabad police team has arrived at Imran Khan's residence in Zaman Park in armoured vehicles to arrest him. And there are considerable number of Khan's party workers who are present across Zaman Park, that is the residence of Imran Khan. We've also shown you those pictures in the past where you would remember that tweet that was put out by the Islamabad police that had moved to Lahore and had put out details of how they were there to arrest Imran Khan. But Imran Khan's supporters who have been around him, especially outside his residence in large numbers, so that his arrest can be evaded. We may have Kaswar join us shortly to give us more details of what exactly is happening in Lahore on this front, as the Islamabad court has suspended non-bailable warrants against Imran Khan, and there's clearly no respite for Imran Khan, as his arrest is now imminent. But how long can they postpone it, given the supporters of Imran Khan who continue to guard his residence and build pressure on the Islamabad police? On that note, we have to slip into a very short commercial break, but we'll get you more details on this on the other side. Do stay with us. The other big stories we are tracking for you this afternoon: there's big trouble for the BJP ahead of the elections, as BJP MLA has taken a swipe at Yediyurappa for announcing a seat for his son.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
The issue of institutions, when the ED goes after you, these protests don't happen.
Obviously you don't understand English. What can
I understand English, sir. That's why I'm asking Mr. Rahul Gandhi raised the issue of institutions. When ED goes after you, these protests don't.
Your English is wrong.
Public workers. This is the right now on the screen. That's on your screen, babe. That's P. Chidambaram right now. He's arrested. On the screen. Mr. Chidambaram. Mr. Chidambaram.
Mr. Parambir Singh, you fabricated evidences in TVR scam. Are you ashamed of it? Are you sorry for it? Who were your political bosses? Who gave you orders?
जिस प्रकार से विदेशी धरती में जाके भारत का अपमान किया गया, भारत के सब संस्थानों का अपमान किया गया और विशेषकर पार्लियामेंट का अपमान किया।
For the second consecutive day, Rahul's India insults rocking the parliament. Government asks for an apology.
राहुल गांधी जी का कैम्ब्रिज क्राइस, लंदन लाइस, इससे साफ तौर पर दिखता है कि वो देश को अपमानित करने का कोई भी क्षण नहीं छोड़ रहे।
Union Minister Anurag Thakur slams Rahul Gandhi, says Congress must stop Cambridge cries and London lies. Congress goes all out to defend Rahul Gandhi, rules out apology for his comment on democracy.
तो राष्ट्र की बात करने वक्त बालों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। 23 दिनों का मुकदमा चलाया जाना चाहिए कि कल ऐसा ना हो कि हिंदू राष्ट्र वाले कितनी नफरतें बढ़ा दे, इतनी परेशानियां बढ़ा दे।
Controversial cleric backed by the Congress party, Tawqir Raza, now says, what if Muslims want a Muslim Rashtra? Trouble is brewing for the BJP ahead of elections in Karnataka. C.T. Ravi, leader of the party with a national role, takes a swipe at Yediyurappa, another leader backed by the Prime Minister, and this for announcing a seat for his son even before the ticket distribution. Swift and shocking collapse of 2 American banks prompts fears of a broader upheaval, contrasting how Indian resilience versus American collapse and failure of regulators. Thank you for joining us here on Republic TV. I'm Niranjan, and several stories breaking this afternoon and all of last evening. One of the biggest debates here on Republic TV was that of same-sex marriage. The fact that the centre said in the Supreme Court in an affidavit that there would be havoc When asked a question and backing the centre's stand on the same-sex marriage, RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale has now said that marriages can only take place between persons of opposite genders and that the Sangh agrees with the government view on same-sex marriage. It's for the first time that the RSS has taken a stand on the issue of same-sex marriage. They have taken a stand on LGBT rights. They are for gay rights. But on the issue of same-sex marriage, backing the centre's view on it. Listen in.
इससे प्रवास करना वगैरह में स्वाभाविक रूप से कुछ सीमाएं रहती हैं, इसलिए उनके कार्य उस गति से चल रही है। महिलाएं वो शाखा चलाती है, इस पर कार्यक्रम जो करते हैं। बाकी जैसे मैंने कहा, सामाजिक परिवर्तन के सारे विषय, कुटुंब प्रबोधन महिला के बेटों हो ही नहीं सकता। हमारे सेवा कार्य, हमारे प्रचार विभाग, इन सब में बहनों के पार्टिसिपेशन है, महिलाएं उस पर पार्टिसिपेट करती है, शाखा कार्यक्रम में नहीं रहती। नंबर 1। अनदर थिंग, हमने एक विचार किया है इस बैठक में भी, वो है हर 3 महीने में एक बार शाखा के एक नगर है, एक गांव है, वहाँ हमारे सभी कार्यकर्ता पूरे परिवार के साथ उनके, क्योंकि हमने कोविड में एक अनुभव किया, घर में जब थे तो घर के अंदर ही कई लोगों।
So we'll just play out the exact portion of the RSS. In fact, that was an ongoing news conference. We'll just get you the exact portion. But the RSS essentially backing the centre on the stand taken on same-sex marriage. Dattatreya Hosabale is saying that marriages can only take place between persons of opposite genders, and the Sangh Parivar agrees with the government view on same-sex marriages. We'll try and get some more reactions to this. In fact, the centre had in its affidavit taken a clear stand, and the centre is also of the view that the Parliament must eventually decide on the issue of same-sex marriages, and that Hosabale has said that the marriages can only take place between persons of opposite genders. We'll try and get some responses to this. Sangh Parivar agreeing with the government view on the same-sex marriage. Meanwhile, the Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju also said that not interfering in personal lives of citizens, but institution of marriage is a matter of policy. And this is a day after the centre had opposed the Supreme Court legal validation of same-sex marriage. The Law Minister Kiran Rijiju had said the government does not disturb the personal freedom and activities of individuals, but the issue related to the institution of marriage is a matter of policy. He was responding to a question on the centre's stand in the top court. The government has said on record the government is not interfering in the personal life, personal activities of anybody, so there should be no confusion. But when it comes to an issue related to the institution of marriage,